Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Monday Morning Murder Podcast. I am your host, Erin /Fayfire, and this is my lovely co-host, Mandolin, Miss Mandy, and we are here to celebrate our impending dooms, right?
I mean, it feels that way.
Yeah, it's a Monday. I mean, is there a better day to, have a doom coming? Well, except for maybe the solstice, the winter solstice or fall solstice. But anyways, but on that note, it is the spring solstice today in bulk. And so we are kind of like celebrating, with Jackie vibes because Jackie is Persephone. And this is the day that Persephone re-emerges to bring spring to the world. So isn't that a lovely little side note? So anyways, we're here to discuss Doomcoming season 1, episode 9 of Yellowjackets. And this is, hands down, like my favorite episode, probably of all. I'm hard pressed to think of one that's better, but also I'm excited to see if maybe in the future they could come up with something that would top it. But I don't know. What about you, Mandy? Is this how do you feel about Doomcoming? This holds a special place.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I really like Burial, and I like the one where
I can barely watch Burial again. That's so wild.
Yeah, it's really a lot, that episode. But yes, the Doomcoming is definitely the episode that takes this series into another level, I believe. Is it our Doomcoming? I don't know. It's more of a honey for the hive, but I just want to say hello to the chat. Hello, Cue Awkward Noises. Hello, all of our friends. I know Cece's going to be in here soon.
Yes,
Moni G. Yes. So, and let's keep it buzzing. Our fellow jackets, sis, and detectives. Yellowjackets obsessives, Blood Hive. Let's go. Let's get in this episode. I'm really excited.
Yeah, let's get the chat bumping and bring your berry wine and your shroom stew, and we're gonna have a party up in here. I've got my Doomcoming shroom brew cup with me. May or may not have shroom brew in it, but that's for me to know and you guys to find out.
This may or may not have blood in it. That's for me to that's for me to drink.
Yeah. Hey, I love it. We're on point. We're a little slow this morning. It's a slow Monday for us, but we're getting there. We need our shroom brew. So anyways, well, this is a really exciting episode. There's a lot that happens. And in some ways, it really brings the group together. It brings to mind, we kind of talked about this statement. Well, we almost talk about this statement like every week because it was so profound. But when Lottie tells the story in season 2 about the bees vibrating around the queen, and that's how they whatever. So we can see how that sort of reflects in this episode with the girls, because they do kind of come together in a way, but there's one who separates herself from the rest of the group as per usual. And, that's kind of this thing with group mentality. If you stand on the outside, if you put yourself in the position of the other, then you're often preyed upon for that reason. Even if the reasoning seems more sound and logical, which is probably where Jackie feels she's in the position to be. But, that shroom brew really kicks. So, so Mandy, let me know what's your thoughts? Why don't you tell us about the director and all that good stuff for this episode?
Yes, yeah. So this one was directed by Daisy von Schroeder-Mayer, and she they were starting off season 2 as well. So tailor-made for these episodes and season 2. We have, of course, the usual gang: Liz Fang, Jamie Travis, Brad Von Ergen, Amani Rosa, Sarah Thompson, and Karen Kusaba in this one, and executive produced with Drew Commons and Jonathan Lisko. So, and then of course, all hail Ashley and Bart.
Of course.
So, yeah. But we're trying to make sure that we give some credit where it's due and try to get these names out there and known, because they're, this show is so meaningful to us, at least. And I absolutely adore the show, love it, and pretty much have turned into a whole psychology class for me in doing this research. It really has, because I've just gotten on so many different rabbit paths like Shauna, and learned a lot, just thinking and trying to figure out what books or what other literature works that they did. Yeah, Jennifer's Body. Shout out. Aaron loves that one.
Yeah, Karin Kusama, she directed Jennifer's Body as well. And Yellowjackets and Jennifer's Body share so many parallel like themes and colors and just like little small details, the butterflies. You can really see it when you start to like analyze it. But yeah, I agree. We want to make sure and give credit where credit is due. And all of the people who work, well, I mean, on every single episode is just a piece of art, really, because they each tell a story in their own way. And you can see the little unique touches from each of the directors. Karin Kusama in particular, we can, obviously recognize her little touches on it too. So not in this episode, but she does 209. So anyways, well, so the episode starts out with a bit of we don't waste any time in this episode. So Shauna and Adam, the episode starts where Shauna finds the glitter in the closet, and she finds the glitter. She thinks it's Adam, so she goes to his apartment and she's like, who the heck are you? And she starts kind of losing her mind and like searching his apartment and believes that he is the blackmailer. And that he broke into her safe and took her journals. And so, things get weird quickly. And Adam really kind of like, I mean, he hasn't done anything wrong. Like, we know that, or well, we kind of know that. I mean, we have our theories, but he keeps his cool. He's like, not exactly reactive or like, stay out of my stuff or anything like that. He's just kind of like seeing what she's doing. Because at this point, clearly we know he knows about the plane crash. What more he knows or what other sort of motivations he has, I don't know. We're still a little confused about that. But anyways, but Shauna finds the book, Skin in the Game. So, which is an interesting title considering Adam's ultimate demise. So anyways, and the cheese grater.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Good point about the cheese grater. I think Adam here is just like so naive and cute. And honestly, it kills me to see him die because one, he's just a gorgeous specimen of an individual, but also, what a waste. But also, he thought it was, yes. And he thought that it was role playing. He's like, okay, I see we're role playing. What are you talking about? Journals. And then he explains that I see that you've been in something, extremely stressing. And he really does have care and concern for Shauna. And he explains it clearly, but she kind of, through all her lies and all of her manipulation, she believes that that's the way of the world. And you see this sadistic turn on killing where it turns from role playing to, you are against me, to you destroyed me because you were keeping these secrets, when really she was the one with all the secrets. And you see all these flashbacks and you see that smirk when she kills him, into this like sadistic turn of from sex to control to this weird kind of, I mean, we knew she had weird fetishes, but this is where we really start to see the beginning of that kind of, what turns her on is that control and power, and to be able to, use a piece of meat. And I feel like poor Adam was literally now again a piece of meat. Mm-hmm. And so much, I see in the next episode, just to get ahead, but we all pretty much know that she ends up cutting him up like a piece of meat. Mm-hmm. So There's no milk cart for Adam.
And
here.
I always think back to it was the first or second episode. I think the second episode when Shauna's taking the frozen meat out of the freezer to thaw, right? Something about that, because it's like right on, like she's calling Callie when she runs into Adam's car. She's calling Callie to say, take the meat out of the freezer, but Callie forgets. And so then like later when she actually does take the meat out of the freezer is, I think, when Adam calls her. And so like there's something about the frozen meat and Adam and like her desires all kind of being intermixed together there. And so, yeah. And then she cuts him because he's raw, it's like raw in that moment, especially it's raw from her. Like she's the raw meat there because she's the one that's being laid out to, like, her lies, her things are all coming into light. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and it is a good analogy too with the frozen, because it's been 25 years, all the secrets and things have been frozen, so they're starting to come out and thaw. And beyond that, her whole just the fact that she wants fresh meat. She's got fresh meat, and she goes and kills the rabbit. So she goes and gets herself some fresh meat just from the backyard.
You just made me think of something. The 25 years, because we've like, what is the 25? Well, 25 could. I just had this like cyclical vision in my mind of like 25 being like a quarter of 100, right? So 25%, but also being like a quarter, like what if we're looking at it like the year cycle, right? Just like you said, the meat thawing out. So like the 25 years they're in the freezer kind of thing, and winter is over kind of. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just
I get what you're saying. I understand it. I'm not sure if our fans do, but I get you. I always get you, girl. But
it's just a thought. A quarter of the, and that's a season. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways,
I wonder. We should look into defrost times for certain meats. But
usually 25 years, I would not recommend eating that meat.
25 minutes. We'll see. Flash, but it was flight 2525. So, and then also there's
She even says it there. Yeah, the flight number 2525. She says it's the flight number, but. Anyways, it's just an interesting thought. I don't know. It's probably nothing. I'm probably overthinking it. But I do love this scene. I unfortunately did not get any better pictures of the whole thing with she's having those flashbacks where she's envisioning herself as her younger self, where she's in that the butcher mode, right? Where she was in the wilderness, and, killing and taking life is not something that's frowned upon or anything. That's how you live. That's how you continue on, is by killing, by taking life. So oh my God, Shauna, you killed him.
And I love later on when Jeff's like, nobody needs to die, and she just is quiet. Because
he's like, everything's fine. She's like, no, it's actually not.
When Shauna does there's a lie. That's I've realized in every episode. Whenever she's feeling that way, I'm lying.
She is a terrible liar. I'm so glad. I didn't even catch the line of Jackie when she calls her like, you're such a bad liar kind of thing, about like what she said a couple episodes ago about her dad and when her parents were getting divorced and stuff. For some reason, I never like registered that in the times I've rewatched the show, but this time it really did. And it does make sense. I mean, it's obvious she's not good at lying, but when you really watch it, it's like, you're a terrible liar, Shauna. You like should work on that skill for being as like full of S as you are.
It turns into, I don't know, I didn't do it, I don't know. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, which is honestly, that's exactly what the narcissist, sociopath, psychopath does a lot. That's a regular thing for them. And so is that smirk when they're hurting you, that Shauna clearly shows here. But we see it in the younger version of her. We see it in Sophie. I'm sorry, we see in the younger version of her. And she does this, like, after she stabs him and pulls back, she does a smirk. and it just it disgusts me because I know how narcissists and sociopaths are, and we see that part of her.
Well, she's the butcher. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, I guess.
Someone posted a picture of her car. Someone was like, what kind of car does Shauna have? And they posted a picture of her little car, when she was a teenager. And I was realizing that my first car was like almost identical. I, again, don't know how I didn't like register that. I don't know what her little car is, but my first car was called a Plymouth Colt Vista. And it looks like almost the same. It's like a little tiny, like whatever the hell. But I was like, damn it, me and Shauna, we are so like, we're cosmically interwoven.
I had a purple iridescent Saturn. It was really, and speak of the return of Saturn, that's what we're in right now. But yeah, it was pretty much something. It was really cheap, and then I ended up giving it to my sister when I got a new car. So it went through several of us in my family.
I loved my car. I think I just ended up, I upgraded. I got a new car, which was dumb because my Colt was freaking awesome. I should have kept it.
Yeah. Well, now I'm a Volkswagen girl. Like totally. My new car at that time, because I had started a good job and actually had money for once in my life. So I bought myself a car, and it was a Volkswagen Jetta. And that was like in 2001 or 2 when it was, cool. It was really cool. You know what I mean? It was like when the Jettas were still older, cool. But now they're a little bit more plasticky, but I still rock Volkswagen. I still have I have a Taivan. So I've been a Volkswagen lover since.
I traded in my Colt and I got a Hyundai Accent, and that was like my new car, right? Like
those are good cars.
They are. It was a great car. I used to go crazy in that car. I'd take that thing on mountain roads. It used to drive around on the snow. Like it was like Legolas, like going on the snow. It was like, it's so light. It doesn't matter. I'd drive around with like a giant bag of kitty litter, like when it was snowy out and stuff, and just dig my way up and keep on going.
I see you more as a hobbit, though.
Yeah, totally. So, hi, Wild Marjoram. Welcome to the stream and to the chat. And yes, I love this moment. So there's a slight flash of a wrist being tied to the bed, which I do believe is from a deleted scene that was in her flashback. So what that's actually from, that was intentionally just a flash to it. And that is, there was a deleted scene. We talked about it during episode 5, I want to say. And I don't have that anymore. So I need to tell you guys, my son, while we were on our long break, my son took my SD card out of my computer and like took it in the bathtub and like flushed it down the drain. And so I lost so much stuff, like so many pictures and episodes and things like that. So I lost that script, so I don't unfortunately have it. But if you guys want to reference it, it's back in episode 5, Blood Hive. But the scene is of Shauna and Adam, and they're like getting kinky, and she ties him up, and then she like chokes him, and she almost kills him, because while she's choking him and they're like getting it on, she has this vision of Jackie, like she does when she's on the bridge and she sees Jackie like right before her and Adam are going to jump off the bridge. And so she almost like kills Adam because she's so distracted, and she's like, choking him like sexually, asphyxiation. And I also believe that this is the moment of where she gets pregnant, because I have a theory that Shauna is pregnant actually by Adam, which kind of fits with the, repetitive nature of the show, right? And so I don't know, take it or leave it, but that's my thought. But I think that that's that moment, because she's kind of having all these flashes. She's flashing back to when she's younger. She's flashing to her and Adam and their weird kinkiness and that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know.
They also do. It's also that scene with Randy, and next episode, I know I'm getting ahead, but they have Randy singing, or when she's talking to Randy at the reunion, all that she wants is another baby. It's played in the background.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, I died laughing because I knew that, like, you know, the whole semen thing that they want Randy's semen in the next or in season 2, and that's also like an offering.
Oh yeah, they do.
It's kind of like an offering.
That's so witchy. We needed semen.
It is though. And they do this offering for that, and I, you know, we'll talk more about this because I feel like there's an offering of the virginity between Travis and Jackie here as well. You know, there's lots of little offerings of babies and things that we are not noticing because that is still a spill of seed.
Mm-hmm.
If only the girls knew how to harvest and sow and plant these seeds regularly, then they would be surviving better and not eating and cannibalizing each other.
Very true.
So they turn into the Baal, Cain, and Abel type stuff, you know.
Well, and it's kind of funny too.
Instead of sowing their own seeds.
What I found to be kind of funny, okay, they're like starving. They've been trying to like forage and collect berries and that kind of thing. Sorry, just flashing back to their younger group. But I found it to be really funny that Mari just has like 3 gigantic jars of hooch, which is made from old, you know, like fermented berries, right? Which is like perfectly reasonable. But it's like, you guys obviously had enough food that Mari has 3 jars full of berries that like weren't eaten. So they just weren't like planning it out properly. Or, I mean, they could have done many things like to preserve that.
Let's just go into this. Let's start out with the 96 timeline with the girls, and we see them doing the berries, and we see Akila going full on using her Girl Scout badges, getting the worms. They're eating worms.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering as well about the berries. Like, how does she know? Do they have the yeast? Does she know the recipe to make booze or wine or?
You probably don't need yeast in that kind of environment because it comes from the trees. It comes from the pine and that kind of thing. So you can actually probably just throw them in a jar and like call it good.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. What picture do I want to start with? Here we go. We'll start with this one. I did put
a Mari marinating
Mari in here just because she looks so cool.
She's marinating all the berries.
I've got this one
like
with her.
Put her as like marine demons, like she's a marine demon, which I'm planning to talk about that later on.
You mean like a Mari maid, like a mermaid type, demoness type. I've been doing a lot of studying on this topic actually recently, so there is what's called like a Mari maid.
Yeah, so that, and then mermaid or the Leviathan type spirit. She's part of the 3 heads of the snake or 3 heads of the dragon, which is part of Leviathan.
Is Mari Daenerys? Is that what you're saying?
No. More like Thaisa. But like we do cut into a scene with her, Thaisa, and Van, and where they're all like Van's in the back sitting in the bed, and you kind of see like a triangulation of the 3. I she's also, you know, quick to follow Thaisa in finding a path and kind of always on that side. And you see the triangulation too between her and Akila and Misty as well. So
I call her Mari the Maenad because, you know, it's just she's so like feisty and sort of ready to you know, just ready to be wild and like do the bacchanal vibe. And she's always like really hostile towards Coach and towards Misty and towards Crystal. Like she's just like a hostile person looking for a fight, but it's almost like she's just so hungry, you know? And she's just like, I don't care. I'll fight you and then I'll eat you sort of thing. It's kind of interesting.
I like how she's like the chef, you know, the top chef over here, which is cutting up the stuff, and Missy would hold it down, and she's got everything rolling and making and the stewing. She was impressive this episode.
Yeah, she was, and she's just funny. She is like a little she's definitely like the food person, and then especially after this episode where with the shrooms, like then it gets interesting because she's like, well, it's funny because she kind of like blames Misty for that. Whoops, I'm gonna pull up that picture. She like blames Misty for the shrooms being in the stew, but it's like you literally took her little baggie of mushrooms and put them in the stew and didn't say anything to anyone. So whose fault is it really? You know?
That's very narcissistic. It's a narcissistic thing to do. Same with Shauna. And Shauna's like, what? You read my diary? Like, never mind that I'm pregnant with your boyfriend's baby. You read my diary? Oh, how dare you? Like, and then there's also, you know, when Jackie's going in Shauna, just saying, hey, you know, what about all the things we didn't do? What did you not do? She's never looking at herself. They're not looking at what they did, and that's super narcissistic. Like, it's always about what everyone else is doing because they are shells. And Jackie makes that statement here, which I die because, you know, that's my thing is narcissism abuse and trying to make people knowledgeable of narcissism abuse. And so anyway, I see her when she talks about the shell. We're all just shells. Love doesn't exist. None of that matters. We're shells. And then that's really what a narcissist is. They don't see inside. They're not looking inward. They're always looking outward and judging each other and learning by other people or what other people did so that makes them a good person. Never mind that you've done terrible things to people, abusive, terrible things. And also, like, there's a whole thing about the soul and the spirit, like when you have spirit, when you look inside, and that's what season 2 is about. When you look inside and start looking inside versus outside for other people, for me, other people are going to fill me. Other people are going to suffice me. I'm going to take this from other people. Then season 2, they start looking inside and going inside out is when you start living by the spirit. And we're spirits here living stuck in bodies. But like right now they're living as a body that needs to find the spirit. So it's a really interesting, I don't want to get too deep into that because that could be a whole like hour-long episode in itself. But it's just a really interesting thing to think about when they're being so fleshly and body here and not looking in like outwards only. They're only looking outwards. I mean, never in.
After we do the season 1 stuff, maybe we'll do some just random streams or like character streams or something like that where we're more focused. So let me know in the chat if you guys are watching, if there's any particular characters or topics that you would like to see Mandy and I, because we only have, this is episode 9. The next episode is our final episode for season 1. It only took us like 4 months to get through season 1, but you know, whatever. But we've got the whole year. We've got to keep the buzz going until season 3 comes out. So
we're lost in the wilderness. I know I've been lately, and I've been dealing with a lot, but also I have several series of videos ready to go, but I need to make the video. Like they're all like kind of first documented. So that's what I want to focus on during the summer. So I'm excited about it. Actually, I'm really excited.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Cue awkward noises says, I want y'all to review. I can talk. Yeah. Revisit the Cannibal Council scene with the hindsight of the cabin burning down. Interesting. Yeah. Analyze everyone who made it out and who might be what role.
I like that. Yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about the cabin recently, and I think more of it is that like we set fire, you know, you have to be reborn in the fire. And now instead of them thinking of it as a bad thing, it's actually really a rebirth into the spirit, because now they're not looking at their outward. That's exactly actually what I was talking about. They're not looking at their outward, the cabin and the food and the things they have, because they don't have that. They have to go look within now and into the spirit, and that kind of correlates to what they're doing in the adult timeline with Lottie and looking in. And that's why Lottie is not healing like the other girls are starting to heal, and Lottie didn't, because she was looking outward for all of her gratifications, and looking to her followers and looking to the other girls, and not realizing that the spirits and your soul, the spirit and the soul and the body are all connected, and you have to start from the inward out. So it starts with the fire. The fire is the rebirth and born, and you know, it's what catalyzes the spirit. If you talk about like I mean, the reason I know and study so much about this is because I'm a Christian and I do the Holy Spirit fire. So like I get the fire, the consuming fire, and it goes on, and it just kind of rolls off with this whole rebirth through the spirit of fire. So it kind of like opened up all these doors to these theories for this.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like with this story, you can really look at it from many perspectives or mythological perspectives, or just kind of see, because it does touch into a lot of different ideas and esoteric thoughts and yeah.
I'm
So
into it all.
they do. Wild Marjoram says, I want to know about the 3 girls standing to the side of the burning cabin. Are they fates or a triad? And I'm not, that's not coming back to me. The 3 okay, let's see. They haven't been introduced. I assume they will be in season 3. They're pretty much okay. So just not part of the main group that they were showing. I don't know.
I mean, you know that I'm always all about these alter egos becoming actual active imagination in form. So who knows? It could be that. I have to go back and look at it too. I know we make a lot of notions about the fates and Misty and Akila and Mari kind of becoming that triangle of the witches and the threes and the fates and the life and the eyes, because they're kind of together. That little.
It's interesting that they keep. Well, I mean, I guess, they can't just like cut people out, but it's just interesting that they have extras still that like we don't know, we're like, who are you and when will you die?
Yeah, and in Doomcoming, I definitely noticed that too as I'm seeing all these faces, especially when they're all coming out. It was just,
it's funny. It's
like, I don't think they're gonna do. I would assume that they keep the same extra JV squad that they did in season 2. I mean, they did a great job. So
that's a lot of extra like people to die, because if only like 7 or so, I think 7 of them are coming out, like that's a lot of people to die. So
well, I also definitely think that they're being more subconscious and by watching us and all these different podcasts and things about it, and the fans are actually looking and counting and being super citizen detective with their work. So I think that they're going to be a lot more careful and cautious when they're doing these things.
They weren't ready for us.
They were. Don't you know you exceed Game of Thrones to me?
Yeah. What do you think this is? We get crazy up in here. Okay. So I'm going to pull this up again. And so they decide they're going to have the Doomcoming, and they all, because they have dresses, they have booze, they had their dresses for the soccer tournament, so they're like, why not? And Jackie, she's getting increasingly nihilistic to the point where she's like, yeah, who cares? She's like not eating, like when the rest of them are eating the little grubs, she's like, no, I'm just, and we get the infamous moment where Shauna calls her Jax, which the Jackie Shauna lovers love that moment. But she calls her Jax. She says, Jax, you got to eat. And Jackie just says, no, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to die. There's no point. And so, but they come together. They're like, we're going to have a Doomcoming, one last, time to celebrate our impending doom. It happens to be also, sort of during like the fall equinox, right? This is like, unfortunately, again, things that I lost on my SD card. But I'm fairly certain that Doomcoming takes place on like October 24th or something like that, according to there is like an official episode timeline for the younger and older. But so, or it's either the 24th or the 28th. But anyways, right around Halloween time. So the veil is thin, as maybe we all 25th. Know.
25.
Yeah. And and then the shroom stew happens, but they all are feasting. The only person who doesn't feast is Jackie, because she's refusing to eat.
But let's talk about Misty during that, because how sadistic is she? Because you see her watching everyone drink, and she kind of gets this smile going on her face, like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna like? And then you see like her getting off to it kind of, and like, oh no, and she doesn't tell you until the next episode. But beyond that, all I can think about is how easily she would date rape somebody or something. Like, I just am thinking about all of her dates in the future and what happens to them. Does she keep those men in her basement? I don't know, but it's really cringy. I thought it was really cringy.
Because she Well, she has that opportunity when Mari puts the mushrooms in the stew to say like, oh, those are psychedelic. And that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone would be like, well, I'm not going to eat it kind of thing. Like they might still, they're having a party, but it's interesting that she chooses to not say anything and then like just sort of observe and like see what's going to happen.
I think also it has to deal because Mari was like, oh, you're holding out on us. Thanks, Misty. And like she was getting credit. And we know that she doesn't get that much credit. We also see her Misty's Magic Notebook, where we see with the guide for the herbal medicine plants inside of it. And things like that. Yeah, Misty is a trickster, but we do see her hiding evidence, hiding stuff. We see her sadistically kind of just like breaking the box. She's keeping things that she knows are life-saving or life-changing instead of sharing these herbal plants or that notebook or the even book with the rest of the girls. She's hiding and keeping knowledge. Like, I mean, Illuminati, what? Like, Misty's part of the Illuminati. But well, like, I don't know.
This is like, for me, it touches into her Greek like parallels so much because, you know, we've kind of talked about how she's kind of Athena, but she's also kind of Circe. And Athena, you know, she's the goddess of wisdom. So we can kind of see her using that like medicinal like inquiry to kind of see, oh, what would happen? Like what's going to happen medicinally for this? But also like Circe, who does the exact same thing. She's put on this island. She's alone. She's exiled to an island. And so she goes and she learns all the properties of all the different herbs and plants and everything on the island. And then because at a certain point she's like attacked and assaulted. And then when Odysseus's men come, she's like more prepared. And so she drugs them and turns them into pigs. Right.
Yep.
And so
man pigs. Let's just throw that out. Man pigs is what they call humans in human bodies. The cannibalistic terms. Yeah.
And she also sort of seduces Odysseus in that way as well, which we see Coach as parallel to Odysseus, and he's on his Odyssey. And so there's something there to this idea. Yeah. But I love her little medicinal, like her drug booklet that she's got and like her little notes and all of that. I just love it. I mean, it is a little crazy, but it's also like, how are you going to know? Like she feels probably kind of compelled to do these experiments so that she can be the healer and know the properties of these herbs and these things. And somebody's got to try it, you know, but her guinea pigs.
Okay, but like this is the point though, is like, why is she not telling the whole group? Because all of the group learning what one certain thing is or one certain type of herb is, and then them going out together, you know, they're probably walking over things that could probably save them or feed them that they don't even know about, you know. And then now Misty or possibly Aquila are the only people that have this information. You know, it makes me think of her name too, like Misty, like cloudy, steamy, like murky. She's the misty water, like she's hiding information. And then, you know, Quigley though means unruly hair, but that's a different thing. But, you know, it's just not, you see her taking control, manipulating the control again, like the box, like the things she does in a sadistic, really messed up way that a lot of people can be saved or killed by her schemes. So
yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I like it a lot. I love, you know, she's just such a character, and I don't know, right or wrong, but yeah, you're right. I mean, she should share the knowledge, and Aquila is sort of her like, I don't know, the nurse to Misty being a doctor, except for that Aquila clearly shows that she has like more skill than Misty half the time. Like Misty has the knowledge, but I feel like Aquila has like the practical abilities. Like she's more capable of applying it. Whereas Misty, she's like a wealth of knowledge, but she might not necessarily know how to always like apply it.
Well, Misty is an actress. She's putting on the face of the role, you know. She doesn't even always know it. She's not the star player quite yet. But let's talk about Misty and her manipulation going into Coach, because we see her. She works up. It's kind of cute. It's really sad though too, how you see her like, oh well, manipulating Coach, like, I've never been asked and I'm not pretty, I know, and like kind of guilt tripping Coach, working up. I know it's not a Sadie Hawkins dance, like trying to come up with excuses for her to just do the one thing she wants to do. Like, Missy, you don't need an excuse to ask Coach. She's like, well, I know it's not, but I'm going to ask you anyway. This is an excuse. And I just, no, Missy, like, ask. If you want to ask, ask. That's why I really like Taissa and Van in this episode, because they just do. They just kiss. They're like, oh, hey, we're together. And Akila's like, yeah, of course you're together. There's Akila showing. But Missy, with the guilt tripping, finally says to Coach, will you go to the dance with me? I died when asked to dance, actually, later on, when he's like, my dancing days are over. But yeah, so he says, okay, Misty, feeling guilt tripped, feeling bad after she says that I'm not pretty, but we're gonna keep our boundaries and respect. He straight inflicts the boundaries and respect. But the first thing you see Misty do when she's talking to Jackie is, how can I manipulate these boundaries? How can I do this? What are the mushrooms for? Manipulation of the boundaries. So, boundaries are great as long as they're set up, and he clearly set it up. I'll be first to tell. I'll admit, like, I mistake boundaries. Boundaries are a very not clear thing. You have to be clear with them. But Coach was very clear. And until you actually talk about things like that, you don't know what the clear boundaries are between people. But this was clearly it. And we see clearly that Misty doesn't give a crap about boundaries. There's a difference between like girls or people with like that struggle understanding other people's boundaries, like ADHD, that autism. That happens a lot with me, actually. My autism, I just think that people have the same boundaries as me or like are so open. They're not quite. So I've been in situations like that, but I've always respected their boundaries when they're set. You can't just say, hey, okay, how can I manipulate them, or what can I do, or try to drug them?
Yeah, that's a good point. That she uses the mushrooms to, I guess, loosen his inhibitions. And if it were the other way around, where it was like a man doing it to a woman, we would probably look upon it much differently,
Yeah, and then she's talking also, let's go to the Jackie scene, which, how doll face of Jackie to make up Misty. I think it's kind of, in a sense, touching for Jackie that she's still caring so much about other people to make them her dolls. Mm-hmm. But this whole scene there where she admits him, well, I want him to, it's society that's putting the boundaries on us and him. Yeah. And instead of realizing, no, he's putting clear boundaries on you, girl. Yeah. But then what kills me here is Jackie and Misty talking about their mothers, how Misty says, oh, you control a man by food. And here she is feeding mushrooms to him. And Jackie says, oh, you control him by, when you put your mind to it, you can get a man to do anything you want.
Yeah.
And talking about, finally, Jackie admits her mother's on downers, which explains a lot when we get that scene, but of her and Shauna, Jackie's mom and Shauna. But I thought, like, also controlling of narcissism. Narcissistic mothers do this all the time. They control you by food. They control you. Come and eat. Time to eat. Time to do this. Time to this. Like, they control you by feeding you. Yes. Or like they'll give you 4 tables. I do all this stuff. I work so hard and clean and cook, but you don't do, like, and I know that there should be credit for cleaning and cooking. Okay. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying there are mothers out there who will guilt trip you, like Misty's guilt tripping, or who will literally control their kids by food, and then their sons grow up and they expect their wife to do the same thing. You're not and then they abuse them because of that. I've had experience. So this stuff is a real thing that you're like, oh, how can it be so happen? But it's literally all they do. They don't have good conversations. They don't encourage them. They just feed them, and then they control them because now they're being fed. Like, you feed a monkey a banana. Like, have you guys ever heard that thing where the monkeys are like beating the crap out of each other? They put a banana on top of the ladder, and then they're all going up, but then they hit and they hurt the monkeys to stop getting the food. But then once they start doing they won't even go there anymore. Like, it's this form of control and manipulation food, and that we see that's what this whole series is about, this control and manipulation through being eating of each other and having no food, no substance. And then substance is not just food. Substance is character. Substance is spirit. Substance is your soul. Substance is you making a decision, looking inward to check yourself and realize that you're crossing the boundaries, looking inward to realize that you're the one lying, looking inward, substance morally, ethically. That's what a lot of these girls are missing. And
they haven't, and there is something, and we talk about this a lot, like there's something to when people are like sheltered versus people who've gone through a traumatic experience and like their individual like outlooks on life.
Like the mothers who are feeding their kid, they eat all the time, they get 3 meals a day and home cooked, but then
most of these girls have not really experienced, well, I wouldn't say most of them haven't experienced anything traumatic, but like you can see the difference in someone like Nat versus someone like Jackie. So Jackie
too,
her whole life has been catered to, but Nat has gone through something extremely traumatic and they have a completely different approach to life. However, when it comes to like the true like kindness of their hearts, the one you would think would be more jaded is not the one who's been through the more traumatic experience. So there's something interesting to that.
And it's interesting you say that, though, because particularly this episode, we see how Jackie is jaded and she turns into that particular person. She gets jaded and she says, no, well, I'm not. And I think this is probably one of the first times Jackie was jaded in such a manner, where Nat is always. And Jackie does have a nice heart. She does have this heart of gold, but it's a trinket she wears. It's not the inside. It's a doll.
I love that.
It's where she is like, it's like her Barbie doll trinket versus her inside, where Nat is literally that inside. And she is jaded here. And then she takes it out on Nat. She takes it out on the easiest, victim, which Travis becomes a piece of meat. And it is sad.
Well, and that's part of like the queen bees, like going at each other and like the group, because it's interesting. Like, Jackie and Nat are both on the outside of the Doomcoming festivities, might we say. Because Nat, she ends up leaving, her and Coach go and just like chill by themselves. And then Jackie, she just doesn't drink the shroom stew or eat the shroom stew. So they're both sort of outside of like the craziness. It's just it's their queenly aspect, but it's like subtle hints of it.
And then it's also, speaking of heart, like here we are, Jackie completely telling herself that the love doesn't matter. Heart is not the answer. It's stupid. You're stupid, Travis. Everything's stupid. And then meanwhile, Nat and Ben are like, it's all about love. It's all about the heart. Yeah. That's where we have to start. And like,
that's a good point.
The juxtaposition between the two. And then also who lets Jackie out? Who saves Jackie? Nat. Who saves Travis? Nat. It was always person with the heart. And Jackie here, you see the regret on her face.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like what Wild Marjoram says, and I'm sorry, there's some background noise going on. She's replacing her upset feelings with Travis. And I agree. And she doesn't care about how, like, she's so nihilistic. She doesn't care about feelings at this point. She's like, my feelings have been hurt. We're going to die. So what good are feelings? What has that gotten me? And that's kind of the point she's gotten to. So she doesn't care about hurting Nat. If that
she becomes so self-projective too. Like, what does that matter? You're dumb. Because she feels dumb and she knows it. She feels dumb for letting Shauna do that. But Shauna's evil. And then the fact that, like, it says, she says Jackie's so nice but cruel at the same time. I mean, that's just all she knows. She's doing the niceness taught by her mother, and as Jackie was her mom's doll. So she treats the world like Barbie dolls. And she's living in a Barbie world.
True. But
and now she's going through her midlife crisis.
Well, she tries. It's almost like she's really trying to give Shauna, an opportunity. Excuse me, sorry, my husband's cooking onions. I'm dying over here. So she gives her the opportunity to like to tell, you know, to confess. Like she's like kind of giving her an out, and she's also at the same time kind of like cultivating a conversation where she's like, I'm not gonna attack you or any, like there was, she kind of came about it with like a kindness, with a I don't know if that's the right word, but like she was gentle about it. She wasn't like attacking, you know? And so Shauna could have come clean, I feel, and they could have had like a constructive conversation in this moment. But I feel like once Jackie realized that, like, she was like, okay, I've given Shauna a chance. I'm giving her the chance. And she knows, like, you could see it. Shauna knows exactly what Jackie is presenting her with. She knows, Jackie knows. It's just Shauna has to be the one to like say something, and she won't. And so finally Jackie's just like, well, if you're not going to say anything, then I'm just going to go about being as effed up as you are then, and go and do the exact same thing. And she gives Shauna even the chance to look at it, and Shauna even defends Nat. And she's like, why would you do that to Nat, sort of thing. But the real question is, Shauna, why would you do that to Jackie? You know?
Yeah. Well, because what she does is she's seeing that she's worse than she is. She's trying to put that in there, you know. And I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna share a thing too. Like when I with me and my narcissist ex, or you know, whatever, I would say, you never defend me to anyone. Why would you not stand up for me? Whatever. But he would defend the whore he was sleeping with, but never defend me, his wife, to everyone else. That's a narcissistic trait number 101. They defend others. Everyone else is more important than you to them. And once they have you in that realm where they can do stuff like that, they'll take over you. They will literally fuck your boyfriend or have sex with your boyfriend, excuse my French. They will literally do stuff and take you and cannibalize you completely, to that point where they take advantage of you and you don't mean anything to them. And she doesn't. And you're right. She gave her more than enough chances, more than enough things, Jackie did. And dropping all these lines, all these hints. And we see next episode when Jackie calls Shauna out, she just attacks her. She attacks verbally, viciously, says all these things about her, all these built up penetrating stingers to kill Jackie. And that's what happens next episode. But like, yeah, it's really, really sad. This is literally what they do. This is narcissist what they do. They will defend everyone else and make you always the problem. You're always the reason. Never look inside. And even here, she's like, what would you do, Jack? Like, what, didn't you think we missed anything? You know, what are your regrets? Or what about your mistakes? What mistakes did you make, Jackie? Please, you're so perfect. Like, never Ricochet. Let me blame shift. Ricochet, it's called blame shifting. And onto anyone else or anything but myself. They cannot look inward from their spirit. What is that? Oh, that's me. Pardon my French. Did I say that? Sorry. No, it's related.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then, you know, but then we see on the flip side, like later in the episode with Shauna and Jeff, and they kind of are coming together and like being honest with one another. And because Shauna feels like justified in her like sleeping with Adam, because she believes that Jeff was sleeping with Bianca, and unknowing that, like, unbeknownst to her, sorry, that's the right word, that Bianca is actually from like whatever, the mob or whatever that Jeff was borrowing money from, which, you know, and it kind of is the fault of both of them, because Jeff wasn't honest with her and he tried to go behind her back and exploit her friends, which is crazy, but that's kind of Jeff's whole life, right? Jeff's constantly stayed in this inner circle of manipulating one girl for another and another for another kind of thing. And so there is something kind of sadistic about his own methods and his secrets from his wife, but But
I
they
don't
are
think he
coming together.
manipulated one girl from another. I felt like he was more manipulated by Shauna, to be honest, because he's just a dumb teenage boy that gave his penis, like Travis, where Jackie does that to Travis. But like that kind of that made me think of Jeff. That made me think of her sexual relationship with her and Jeff, of what that was. And that's exactly how it was with Travis. It doesn't matter about love. Let's just get to it. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Here we are in this room. Let's do this. But Jeff and Shauna, though, like I felt like Jeff was more of a Jackie's mom kind of character, protecting Shauna as she's the queen. She's the doll. I can't have her go down, even trying to take the blame from her. You know, like it was more of a Jackie's mom. And then she was like he was kind of manipulating her the same way Jackie's mom manipulates her later on. And I think that's why Jeff ends up standing up for her the way he does, because he understands these things and sees the real truth. He knows the real truth, but realizes that the outward appearance is what is more important to him, their shell.
Yeah. Jeff still lives in like a fantasy of being the homecoming king, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's living his best life when they go to their reunion. Like he's just so excited. So it's just kind of I don't know.
I mean, Jeff's just another Jackie, you know, like he but the male version.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
She's
all right. So yeah, Jackie, I just saw this picture and I was like, oh, that's nice. So Jackie getting ready. She's got her little like tie curls in and that kind of thing, which was really cute because I was like, I made sure to pay extra attention to her hair, like at the actual like party, and you could tell it's just like they probably were like, God, I wish I had a curling iron out here.
Well, I love that. I actually use those similar things like that too whenever I do my hair. I think it's the old school way. But yeah, curling iron. She's still doing it up. She's still doing the makeup. She's still got all of the tools she needs necessary to make up. But
raise your hand if you know exactly like what brand of mascara this is based on blonde alone.
But
like gotta do that like old school Maybelline. Anyways,
I think that the tools in her arsenal right here are what we should focus, because it's like she still has got her makeup tools and she can't survive in the wilderness because she's cute. She's able to make it up and she's great at decorating, right? That can happen.
What you said about what her mom, like when a girl sets her mind to something, and you know, just before this, she has the scene with Shauna where she's like, well, I'm going to go after Travis kind of thing. She says, I want to lose my virginity before we die. That's like the only, she doesn't care about eating. She doesn't care about, you know, anything else. She just wants to lose her virginity and then die. So Jackie's priorities.
She just wants to like feel, because she sees how Shauna is, and Shauna's like controlling the power in a sense. Like she's not telling her the truth. She wants to get power back by doing what Shauna did, screwing another woman's man. You know, she wants to do that, and then it turns into that kind of situation about the virginity. But I think it's again more about the control, and the meat. Travis was simply meat to her.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is meat anyways. I mean, he becomes the stag later in the episode. So it's like,
but yeah, this is Jackie though, like throwing a fit, because in a sense, that's what Jeff did to her. Jeff did not treat her like that princess. Like, I mean, he kind of did even with Shauna, but they don't get deep until they're in, you know, up the creek. They're not deep into anything until they're actually deep and drowning. And he was like, okay, yeah, like let's have, like, even the first scene with her is her, you know, orally doing some things to Jeff, and then it's like, okay, thanks, baby, bye, babe, okay, yeah, babe, my turn.
Yeah, I just love this picture of Jackie. It's like
she knows.
Close up, we can really see her her Persephone crown, you know, harvest Persephone. I just love it. It's beautiful. It's got like so many lovely little details. The thorns, which are very like Christ-like, you know, because it's like her crucifixion in essence. And yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, all the crowns are really cool. I like the scene of them making it too, and especially Lottie kind of they're like carving it and getting the knives, putting the third eye in a sense there for her to see into the spirit realm.
Totally. All right, and then so there's some nihilistic Jackie. So Shauna's like trying to get her to eat. She's like, and then she sneakily dumps it out. She's just like, whatever. She's just not. It's interesting that she doesn't choose to eat at all. Like she's just.
I think she's rebutting. Like she's taking back her control. That's why she's like, oh, I'm gonna do what you did, Shauna. I'm gonna do what Jeff did. Like she's finally like past the point where everyone's abused her and pushed her down, whether you think that you see it or not. And that's what makes me mad about people saying that she was a mean girl. Like, nah, people were mean to Jackie, and she was a naive girl. She was a rich, kind of spoiled brat. Yes, I'll give him that, but she was not a mean girl. I don't want that. Thank you. Please put it on. I know.
I don't know if I mean, she has her moments, but it's like, I don't think any more so than anyone else. Like, I don't think she has like,
exactly.
Like, she doesn't go out of her way to be mean like some girls are.
So,
like,
that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, sorry. Allie's a mean girl.
Yeah, like that's what I was trying to say here is that she doesn't do it until like about this time, and she's really not even going out of her way. She's finding justifications like they've been broke up for like a month and this and that, but she's really to the point where it's like, I have to claim back my power and I have to finally become mean and I have to go like take something. And she takes not only that, and then this is her just saying, Shauna, no, I'm not listening to you. Like I'm not doing what you say anymore, Shauna.
Yeah, she was really rebelling.
That's what it was. Yeah,
you see this like moment, like her and Shauna are sitting there on the log, and then she basically just leaves Shauna behind. She goes and she's getting Travis like some of the berry brew stuff, and she's like, Travis, come over here. And Travis and Nat are kind of having a moment where he's like, you can tell it's obvious that he is thinking like, oh, maybe tonight will be the night that like we get back together, sort of thing. Like he's interested in her. Natalie looks beautiful. And Jackie just fully intercepts him right in that moment, which is,
hey, Travis, come over here.
Yeah. And then she's like, let's dance together. And men are men. So like, if there's like a beautiful woman that's all upon you, like it's hard. And you don't like he and Nat are broken up. So, and it's not like Nat was trying, she's trying to play a little bit of hard to get kind of thing, because I think that's like not normally her style. And she's trying to like play, like be more of what Travis wants. They're like playing this weird game. Like she's trying to be more of like what she thinks Travis would want, which is more like somebody maybe traditional, or she's trying to bring more of that out of herself, but I don't think that's what Travis really wants anyways,
I love that you mentioned that, because that is really something to point out, because Travis like belittled her and made her feel like shit by saying like, oh, you've been with this guy, how many men have you slept with? And he was really abusive to her in the past episodes, where she is like doing all she can do to fit Travis's needs and to try to like act that way, and it isn't. And I think that that's something that needs to be mentioned for sure, because it is a big character ploy into this. And then now he sees her as too eager, too giving, too not the Natalie that's strong. And men sense that. I mean, people sense that in each other. When you're trying to act something that you're not, you can tell it's fake. And so then really quickly Jackie pushes in and kind of puts that whole like lecture upon him about, isn't this all your dream, every guy's dream, every this and that, and like kind of not being modest at all. But he likes the attention, and he likes the fact that, I think he also likes the fact that he's triangulating with Jackie with Nat. I don't think he meant for it to go that far, but that's also a narcissistic it's a narcissistic thing that happens, is they triangulate you with everybody and everything. And so I feel like that's kind of what's happening here is Travis, because Travis is very like, he's not secure. He's very self-doomed. Like I don't know, crappy Jon Snow is what I like to call him. Like he brodes, he brodes. He's just like evil. It's always like some.
Yeah, he's a little bit moody, and he's just trying to get by in this like weird situation he's sort of been thrust into with all of these young women. And yeah, I mean, Jackie has a point. Isn't this like every guy's dream? And you might think so, but probably when you're in it, you're just like, oh my God, like it's probably completely overwhelming. He doesn't really have anyone that he can relate to or talk to because he's got a younger brother who's pretty much too young to be like into these girls or like, of that mind frame. Plus he's like mourning his dad. And just like he's a child, basically. Javi is still pretty young. But then Coach, who's older, and he's he's the gay man, and I think Travis knows that. And we have our own theory about Coach and Coach. But
hey.
so I kind of speculate that Travis may not even like Coach that much or take him very seriously or have a lot of respect for him. But yeah, so I think that he struggles with, being the solo, like he is like the male figure, because the other thing about Coach is that unfortunately Coach has been disabled, like he's been benched, so Travis is really like the man of the house. Like he has to kind of do those masculine things, fill that masculine role, be the hunter, be probably the guy that's doing stuff around the house and or fixing things or trying his best to do whatever he can to contribute. And because we even see like when Ty and her little group are going to go off on their own, Travis feels obligated to go with them because he's like, I feel like I shouldn't just let them go off on their own. They're a bunch of girls and I'm a guy. Like he feels like in his masculine role that's something that should be expected of him, whether or not that's accurate or not. It's just like his presumption.
Yeah, he definitely has some misogynistic tones and very like you said, he feels like the only man, but also he feels very demasculated by Nat because Nat shoots better. He's he has these girls that are one-upping him in the realms he's trying to succeed in. Mm-hmm. And it really is a lot to lose your father and then have to be there for your younger brother. So that's also hyping that energy and spirit up a lot. Mm-hmm. Just trying to maintain a fatherly figure for your younger brother. And
I don't necessarily know if I would consider Travis to be misogynistic versus just
there are undertones. It's not like a big it's not like a big thing.
You might have some of a little bit of it, but honestly, like for it being 1996, it's a different era than nowadays. But also, he's I mean, he really is the only guy. He's the only man that's there with them. And as try as you might, and women are fully capable of doing most anything, but when you're thrust into this situation, there are going to be some advantages to having a guy be there, whether it be strength or height or like sort of the ability to like take direction from Coach and if it is for like a more practical assignment or something like that, like Coach basically taught them how to hunt, but he had to tell them, and Travis had to apply those directions. So see if it worked,
you're right. Let me correct myself. I didn't mean misogynistic. I meant chauvinistic, actually. So let me please correct myself, and please, like, I'm sorry.
I'm not like offended or anything. I just think it's a worthy conversation of having, because a lot of people that are like in this fandom are so pro-feminist or whatever, like, the girls don't even need men, they should kill them all and that kind of thing. And I don't agree with that. I think that like everybody has their role in this story and in this experience.
Well, I think he's also like used to that, especially probably being Hispanic origin. Like the female roles were very like, this is what you do, this is what the man does, this is what the woman does. And then also, like you said, 1996 with that, and then everything else with him being the only man, he does have to step into that, what do we think a man is? And let's think about 1996 compared to now, like the movies and things we watch. Like I just watched like Encino Man, and what's the one, Georgia the Jungle with Brendan Fraser, like how they made these jungle boys and what the men do and how they respond and what they act. And you know, it's a whole different thing. And like back then it was like Varsity Blues, the football, like this is what you do, like not what girls and strong feminine characters were not quite the thing. And that obviously is that. And Jackie's not. Jackie is that traditional type of girl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she does have her strengths, you know. I'm not saying she isn't. She is strong in her, and I actually really like Jackie. But you know, it's just that term and is used, and that term, and I'm sorry, that time is just how it was. It was a lot different.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more chauvinistic.
Terribly long ago. I don't feel like gender roles have changed tremendously.
I do. Like I definitely do. I think it's completely different. Yeah.
I'm with Nat. She's like, our vaginas have like monologues now.
They do.
But I do think that, like, yeah, and then we get this example in this episode with Travis, kind of with him hooking up with Jackie and her being a more traditional, you know, feminine person. Then he kind of gets that contrast and sees what he actually likes, and he realizes that he does actually like Nat and actually loves her, and he kind of is coming to terms with that because he says it in this episode.
Yeah.
And
so I guess it's a good thing
and
that
Jack,
they bang.
The one who believes is the more traditional one, is the one who like laughs that off, and she's like, oh, you know, that's stupid. So yeah.
But like, don't we all have to go through those kinds of things? It doesn't matter where, who, what time frame you are. I think you always, you know, you always see the grass being greener on other sides, or you kind of have this image that they portray, and you think that people are this way, and then once you get to know them, or you let them in your house, you realize they're freaking the devil within. You gotta go, motherfucker. You gotta go. Bye. Nope, you ain't for me no more.
So we got this picture, and Nat does have like a very lovely crown on, and I love her dress too. She's wearing that like leopard print dress, and it's just so her, but it's also so Artemis, you know. It's that wilderness, that wild leopard print, you know.
Is that a hanger?
She's Artemis, probably. Shauna's. She's like, let me recycle this.
I mean, like, I'm just like surprised Shauna didn't have the hanger, you know. So, or it's part of hers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the pearl there too, right? So that's symbolic.
Oh, good catch. Yeah. That's hanging on the Antler Queen's stuff, but it's funny that it's in her hair. Interesting.
So pearls are really like, first off, pearls are the only gems and jewels that are actually made by another creature. Like if you look at all of the diamonds and anything else, they're made by pressure from rocks, but pearls are made from pressure by another living human organism or living being. So I think that's the most beautiful thing about it, because Nat is completely made from the pressure of outward experiences or outward people, but she still keeps her spirit, which is the best thing about her. And then she has already been pressured down so much where her pearls are starting to shine.
Yep. I like it.
And she's always in the water too, because I like last episode she was walking on water. She really was like
Aphrodite-ish about it as well. And like that being the love, like she's like, oh, love is everything, and Aphrodite is you know, the goddess of love. But she comes from a seashell. She comes from the sea foam. What is her? Sorry, my son.
We see her and Jackie kind of switch those roles, don't we? Here in this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's trying to be more Jackie, and Jackie's putting on this like hard shell that she thinks Nat is, but Nat is so much more. She's such a beautiful creature. I love her.
Yeah.
Here,
all right.
I actually did a Venus, the Botticelli Venus. Let me find it really quick. I'll show you.
Okay. So yeah, so we have, I love that actually. That's a great little detail. I literally am just catching that right now with the pearl. So I love it. It's perfect. So Nat and Coach, they kind of go off on their own because especially after Nat sees Jackie and Travis like flirting, she's like, let's just get out of here. And apparently she's got her own stash, just as Misty does. She's got her own little booze stash that she found under the porch of the cabin, which I thought was interesting. Spirits from under the cabin. So she and Coach, they go off into the woods and they have their own like time together and they're just like bonding, and it's really sweet because they've done this before. And so Nat and Coach, they do have their own special bond with each other, and they, you know, they confide in each other. She knows that on it, and he was like, what? No, not me. And she's like, but out here they kind of are talking about the whole thing with Misty and the kind of fake crush thing he's got going on with her. And meanwhile, Misty's out there like spying, like listening to them. And I love that shot. Unfortunately, I didn't get it of Misty, but when she's drinking the berry wine and it's all like coming down her face, and while she's out there watching them, her mouth and everything is all stained with berry wine and everything, and it's so like vampirish. Like I just love it.
Yeah. So I actually made this the other day. It was a pearl crown.
Hold on. Can I zoom in on you? Wait, not me.
Let me see. Let me get it in the back.
Okay.
So
see if you can zoom in on you.
I don't zoom in. It's a pearl crown. It's probably hard to see in the back. Anyway.
Beautiful.
I made it the other day for a thing I went to called Rock My Crown, which is about narcissistic abuse, and where all the girls who have been through narcissistic abuse show up and they rock their crowns. It's this girl I listened to who's really, really cool. Her name's Shannon Savoy. But anyway, I wanted to share these. So this is like the Venus Botticelli I did with tiles. It was like a tray I did a while back ago. Tiles.
I love it.
So it's like her shell, but it's the same thing you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Also the heart.
The Venus.
Since we're talking about the heart.
Very nice. I love it. I can find the birth of Venus.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. The birth of Venus.
Chelly.
But I kind of did the shadowing. I actually did this in the hospital. I was about to die that time. It was an art project.
Oh, man.
And then I love these pearls. It was kind of fun. The Rock Your Crown. It was really impactful, actually. All the girls came. Everybody had a voice. And it was just a great time. So.
Let me find this. I've got I just downloaded a picture.
It's kind of a mess, but.
Okay.
And then the hearts go. Yep, that's it.
That's the one. I love this painting. It's beautiful.
I mean, it's kind of. I was feeling it a little bit that day.
Definitely.
I mean, I think I did this about 20 years ago. I'm not gonna lie.
I love it.
It was a tray, and now it's just this part. The other parts have broken.
Oh, see, Wild Marjoram says you should make your art part of your background.
You know what? I will actually. I will. That's a great idea. Thank you for the suggestion. I think that's a. I'm starting to find my voice again too, like Javi, and come back to what I am or what I'm going to be. We'll see. The world is mine, but as is of all of yours, like we can do whatever we put our hearts and minds in, and the spirit is the most important thing, and I have the spirit, so I think that's a great idea.
I love it.
Thank you.
This is, now that we're looking at this, I mean, I do see kind of some like parallels with the way that Nat
Travis
styled in this episode with like the wild blonde hair. Hold on, I'm going to try and pull it back up.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Is that Jackie and Travis? Like Jackie's holding on to Travis. Who's that in the back? Is that Shauna putting on the blanket? The Hope, or Coach Ben maybe is the other woman.
See, totally. I like it. I think we're on to something here.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
Yep. All right. So, okay. So, they go out to the woods, they're bonding. And then like they hear screaming and they go back and all like they hear the hooting and the hollering of the girls that are out, you know, and they're like, what is this? And then, so she goes to go and, you know, find out. Oh, actually, Coach is like, love is everything. You have to go find him. It's so funny.
And then creepy Misty. Hold on, we have to acknowledge the creepy Misty part. Because not just when it's her blood coming in, Misty's like, you're right, Coach, love is everything. Love me.
No, like, get off me, Misty.
Hear that, Dad? Are you furry forest friends? That's my favorite. That's my favorite line. Are you furry forest friends? I'm gay. That's the best. And to me, it's hilarious.
Absolutely. Coach is epic. Yeah, he's so funny in this episode. And he's just so pure, you know? He's so pure.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is.
Oh, go ahead.
Especially when he's high on mushrooms. Coach is like, yeah, he's a big brother. He's not even, you know, the adult. And we talk about that too. When he's about to commit suicide in season 2, and Misty starts referring to him as Coach Ben Scott versus Coach Ben, and starts calling him by his actual title versus the name. And I think that Coach is very, you know, young. Doesn't know what's going on. He's a little bit out there. But anyway, as we go, we see the girls are starting to acknowledge and go through things. We get the different scenes where Jackie and Travis, or Kevin Alves and Ella Purnell, you know, they're doing it. They go through it. They're getting it on, and then afterwards, it just turns into this solemn. What the heck did I just do? You can see Travis's guilt. You can see all this stuff, but the girls come in. They're like, "Where's Jackie?" You hear this hooting and hollering. They notice Jackie's gone. Javi's like, "I don't know. They disappeared. Where did they go?" Then we hear the girls like, Jackie would do that. And then Jackie becomes, you know, villain number 1 right there. And it's not about Nat. It's about something else that is suggested. I mean, what do you guys think that something else is? Was it the wilderness? Was it sacrifice? What was it? I'm not sure. But I actually think it has to deal with sacrifice. I think it has to deal with the virgin sacrifice, how Jackie took and, I mean, kind of very forcefully went on to Travis that way. You know, taking something that isn't yours. You took what isn't yours is clearly what Lottie says. So we go up in, and the girls are avid and really mad with Jackie. And we see that there's blood on Jackie's dress. They start to kick her, throw her down, lock her in the closet. Jackie's back in that closet. So very, very, the popular girl doesn't matter anymore. There was social order, and now it's out of order. And Jackie was out of order. She was out of line. She took another woman's covenant, because marriage is a covenant in the eyes of the spirit realm and God and a lot of religions. Marriage is a covenant, and the order is very clear, you know. And Jackie took and was out of order. It wasn't about her being queen. It wasn't about that. It was the covenant that she broke, that virgin sacrifice, that blood spilling underneath the full moon. There's a lot going on here, a lot of undertones, and the girls ain't having it. And Lottie, most of all, because at this point, I really think with the spirits that help the spirit in them come out of their bodies, the spirit of the wilderness, which is right now they're animalistic, like I was talking earlier. Your spirit is something that, if you're looking outward for all of your feeding and all of your, you know, that's very animalistic. It's not really what humans are called to do. Humans are called to look inward to outwards. They're looking outwards to inward. And that's causing this animal spirit for them to come out. So now these girls, and I think Lottie is like a Jezebel. You know, I'm going to let y'all go back into the reading it, but basically she's like the false prophet who took things like this, and she ended up making it all about the sacrifices and tricking all these people into thinking things were her way, but it's very much, again, outward influences is what's going to control and manipulate. It's all about control and manipulation, and she uses that to get her inner powers. So Lottie's doing that right now, and we see Lottie going on to that, but this is the beginning of that, throwing Jackie down, locking her in the closet, and kind of now we see that they are out of control now. They're going out of control.
Jackie is still operating with like a mindset of society, right? Like she still thinks they're under society's rules out there, whereas the rest of them are like collectively bonding over something that she's rejecting, but also is sort of a more like, like a coven mindset, but also like this is their circumstances. They're all collectively like accepting their situation in this moment. There's nobody that's fighting it. Thaisa's there. She's not trying to go off and find her way out. Van is there. She's accepted like her scars and her wounds that she's gained while she was there. Lottie is fully in her sort of priestess like guide mode. And even Shauna, you know, she's in her butcher like nature there. And so, and her like maternal, her mother, her, you know, all consuming mother like vibe going on. Meanwhile, Jackie's still just a virgin. She's just operating with that virgin mentality. And so, and then she also she sheds her like virgin blood on the symbol that's up in the attic, that's on the floor, like her and well, first of all, her and Travis go up there and they have sex literally in Shauna's bed because Shauna's been sleeping up there. And then
that's some hoe shit right there. That's some hoe shit.
Oh, straight up. Blood
but like Shauna had sex in her husband's bed too. So
true.
You know, that's very Shauna.
Interesting. See, there's a lot going on here. But then when they say, like, when Lottie tells her, you know, you don't matter anymore, like, this is the hive gathering around the queen and buzzing until she's smothered, you know, until she dies.
I want to point out this antler queen activated because I don't know if y'all seen that Paula Abdul, like, where she's surrounded by all the Halloween monsters and she's like, hold on. Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. And she starts dancing. We got to do an Antler Queen one, like, Antler Queen, activate. Antler Queen, activate. Where he's with his, like, killing all the monsters. I think it would be funny.
Totally. Yeah. So, there's something with the blood and the symbol. And then, you know, of course, being in the cabin, which is sort of this liminal space anyways, but also where dead cabin guy was. So there's like death in that room, but also, you know, like sex and virgin blood. And, you know,
romantic.
There's a lot of ritualistic stuff going on here.
Romantic, Jackie says. It's romantic.
It's romantic. Jackie, she's such an she's such a Persephone. She's like, I love gross, creepy places, cabins.
I know. And Travis is like, isn't this freaky? Like, he's just not listening to anything inside that is coming to his head. Yeah. He's not listening to his insides at all.
Poor little sacrifice.
maybe the sacrifice was the spilling of the seeds.
Maybe.
Because we talked about this with Randy and the whole spilling of the seeds. It's not about the sex or the blood. It's about the spilling of the seeds, about not cultivating and taking advantage of each and every seed, because especially out there where they are, they need seeds. They need to plant seeds. Why are they not planting seeds? You know, it's an interesting, because that's like what God says to us when he casts out Adam and Eve from the garden, like, go and you know, plow your seeds. Here, I give you the tools. I give you the hands to plow with. Go plow. But instead of, like, Travis is plowing, but he's wasting those seeds. You feel me?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, Well, and Zeus, that's like Zeus's purpose also, you know, he's the sky god or like the god of air, and he's also like super horny. And so that's kind of like all like intertwined with like the spreading of seeds, because like seeds are often spread by the wind and that kind of thing, like separated from plants. And that's a huge part of this whole story, is like the fruit falling from the plant, you know?
Or being rotten, like Callie. I hate Callie.
I love Callie.
And also, but let me just also say, there's also this like huge thing about narcissistic eyebrows, and they're like Callie's. So just throwing it out there. She's so selfish. She walks out the room when her mother's talking to her. That's like psychopath, sociopath #1 trait. Trust me.
Well, yeah, but her mother is like defending herself from cheating on her dad. So it's like,
well, she learned it from her mother. That's why. Subconsciously, she's trying to hide it, but every little action, these little things like walking out the room when someone's talking to you, or completely like, wow, sure, whatever. Yeah, whatever you say. Sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. They're not actually acknowledging what you say. They just say something to shut you up. Mm. It's literally, and they talk about it in narcissistic and sociopath. Sociopaths are mostly made. So psychopaths are not, but the sociopath has psychopaths that can come out when they're triggered or they're hurt. They become narcissistically hurt, which we see Shauna in the next episode when Jackie calls her out. And then that's when they attack you, like viciously they attack you, and they'll come at you with the worst things ever, or saying, I can't judge that person. I can't say she's a whore when really she's a whore, you know, like, or whatever. They'll come out and they will attack you and say the worst, meanest things that they know they won't say anything to you at all. They'll stonewall you the whole time. And then they'll say the worst thing that they can possibly say. But like, that's one of the things they do. And that's kind of what Callie does. And that's also what Shauna does, is like, she doesn't, you know, they don't acknowledge how people feel. They just assume, they use those assumptions to justify their ill behaviors. Mm-hmm. When their assumptions are wrong, like as we see with Shauna and Jeff. It wasn't Jeff that took those or it wasn't Adam that took those notebooks. Mm-hmm. It was Jeff. Mm-hmm. Because you assume too much. Anybody knows where that's from? Oh, you assume too much. If anyone can drop in the chat if they know where that's from.
It sounds familiar.
It's from Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Callie is her mom's child, but also Jackie reborn.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah. But like, which Jackie? Is it the Shauna? Like Jackie that Shauna is like, Shauna's ignoring Jackie and not telling her the truth, so Jackie starts playing Shauna's game. So that's like the Shauna's game, Jackie? Oh wait, what's the title of the game? The book? Skin is in the game?
Oh yeah, Skin in the Game.
That's what's happening with Jackie right here. Mm-hmm. She's swapping skins with Shauna. She is. Don't you agree?
I like that. Okay, so the girls get crazy. So the whole thing happens so the group collectively, they're hanging out in the woods, and they realize that Jackie is gone and that Travis is gone and Nat is gone. They're like, what's going on? And they have that moment where they're like, oh, well, Jackie's with Travis. And they're like, that's so Jackie. That's like so Jackie, which is an interesting reaction from the group, because Jackie literally like has a boyfriend. So it's kind of
and the same boyfriend.
Yeah.
The same one.
It's funny that they're like, oh, she would just be out like hooking up with some other girl's boyfriend, because that's not the case. And Shauna is the one who comes to her defense. She's like, well, she's not doing anything wrong, which of course Shauna would say. But
it's a lot of self projections here, and it sounds a little bit like jealousy, if you ask me. That's so because like Jackie gets attention of guys. That's just what it is, and whether she wants to or not. But I don't know. Like, I don't think it's so Jackie. I think maybe that she's taking the attention away from somebody. Yes, but for her to actually go off and try to hook up with someone's boyfriend, that's not really Jackie.
Absolutely not. And so that's kind of why it's like, is Shauna coming to her defense because she feels guilt, or like she's feeling guilty for them thinking that about Jackie, or just in general having like bad feelings towards Jackie, even though like Shauna has done bad things to Jackie, but still loves her, quote unquote, like still treats her like that's her best friend kind of thing, even though they have their issues. So it's just kind of this weird run around circle that's going on here. But they're like, well, let's go find him, sort of thing. So
like
they
it's a turning cycle.
Yeah. So they go
tied to it.
The cabin, and they find Jackie and Travis there, and they're like coming out, and yeah, she's got the blood on her dress. So they all kind of go after Jackie. They end up locking her in the closet, having that moment. They lock her in the closet, and then which would be super scary. But then and then they all like they get all riled up, like they have this weird kind of like orgy situation. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's because they're like standing up and taking the power to Jackie, kind of how the same way Jackie manipulates Shauna's control and then starts taking back control. Now they're doing it. And it's lifted through what? Their spirits. Their spirits are manipulated. They've got other things enhancing their spirits. Alcohol, booze, spirits is the name, enhancing their actual bodily, realm, or spiritual realm spirits to just be more. It's alcohol. I don't blame alcohol. I think that it makes you do what you've always wanted to do. Like, I don't really, personally, I don't like it when people blame stuff like, oh, I was drunk. No, being drunk makes you do what you wanted to do always. It's just, you don't give no fucks. Like, you don't care. So now here they are being animalistic. They're not caring. They're going after it. And then once they claim that power, they feel the power. It's running through them. It's like, and then they become predatory. Like, oh, I'm going to take her. I'm going to take this from Jackie. And they saw Jackie, said, Shauna, what are you doing? Get off him. Like, Jackie gets a little territorial right away of Travis. I think that's what instigated for the rest of them to get on him. I think that if they never did anything or said anything, maybe they wouldn't have even gone for Travis. They would have continued off on Jackie. But then what happened is Jackie's like, Shauna, get off of him. It's mine. Like, Jackie's submitting, casting her crown to Travis, making Travis the most wanted item in the room. So the rest of the girls, not just meat, but like he held the power in that room because he was triangulation material for Shauna, and like he was the power tool. He was literally a tool and a tool of power between Shauna and Jackie and Nat. They were using him as the tool, but he was the crown at that point. You know what I'm saying?
He still is. I mean, that's a great point because he is often used to triangulate and to sort of like between, let's say, Lottie and Nat and Travis, or here we have Shauna, Jackie, and Travis, or there's Jackie and Nat and Travis. Like, he is a way to triangulate many of them against each other, which is utilized in even going forward, or like throughout the whole thing in their future lives.
Yeah, I love this comment. I wonder what the positioning of each girl means in the stance if they're trying to symbolize a soccer position. And yeah, I think it's cool to look at that too when they're on Travis. I have also talked about when they're bowing down to Nat, they each take a position of the chakras, and I think it would be fun to do some soccer position. I will look into that actually. I will, not anytime soon, but over the summer I will look into that. It's going to be in my mind now. But anyway, so back to Travis.
This as like their soccer photo.
Yeah. So back to Travis. He is the homecoming king. He's the king. And now who's the queen? And they're fighting over him here. And so they're right now they're fighting for that position of royalty. Who is the homecoming queen to go with Travis? And it's not Jackie necessarily. They're like, you took something that wasn't yours, and we're not talking about that. And Jackie's trying to take the queen spot, but here we see Lottie. So they throw him in, and they're like, I love the part where not only do they become meat. So, okay, let me back up. So in their sacrificing, in their virgin seed spilling, blood sacrifice, I'm not sure what it was with the full moon, however we want to look at it. I think that, yeah, we have talked about their soccer positions and talked about it with the law of Ra, and just how everybody has a certain position on the team, and they all need to function together to make a team. But we haven't gone I mean, we talked a little bit about each character too, like Van evangelizing. She's the goal and stuff. There's other stuff, but we want to do something later in the summer about it. But so back to Travis, it was, he becomes the prize. So then not only that, he becomes the antler queen. He becomes the deer, the stag, because he becomes the king. He's the number one in rule here. No, but listen
is an official subscriber to Travis is the Antler Queen. There are people that theorize this.
Yes. But listen to this. I actually think that that's why Lottie goes back and kills him. And I think that Lottie did kill him because she remembers who was the original power for the Antler Queen. And in her struggle to find glorification from the outside in versus her spirit from the inside out, she's going back into time, going back to Travis, going back to the situation where the Antler Queen and the magic first appeared. She's trying to recreate that situation. Do you think that they may be banging that night too? I don't know. Lottie and Travis, I don't know. In the future.
Maybe next year.
But yeah, it was the prize.
We're going to get Doomcoming part 2, which, hey, I'm here for it.
It was the prize stag, and he became the stag. He became the spirit of the wilderness. He became the king and queen, which is, the wilderness, the factor. I like to think of it as that, they do refer to the Holy Spirit as it. They do actually, and the wilderness and I have a whole biblical thing behind this. I know not many people are going to see it, not yet, but there is. It's coming out. But anyway, I do think it is something to do with he held the power and he was the king. And so now in the future, when Lottie ends up hanging him and kills him, that she was trying to get the queen dumb back. She's trying to get that stag back. That is why he turned into the stag. Mm-hmm. He was like the minotaur too, out of love, caught in that. He's caught, and he ends up caught in the labyrinth, caught in the labyrinth over his heart, over being in love with, his top and bottom. He's turned into a humanoid creature. Mm-hmm. It's really like there's so much behind it. And I love it. And I think that at this point, Travis did hold the power.
Later.
And you have to think. So if Becky was the queen then and Travis took her, you know what I'm saying? Like, Travis penetrated the queen.
Yeah. And there's something to like sealing their fates in this also, where like Jack, with the blood and the symbol. But then also, spreading the seed or shedding of the seed, but also like he gave his virginity to Jackie or Persephone, the queen of the underworld, on this like very auspicious day of the year, which, in a sense, it kind of sealed both of their fates. I agree. I think that Travis is the stag king personally in this scenario, which is all kind of the same sort of mentality. He's like the king of the land, right? And so, but there's also the sovereignty goddess or the queen of the land, where there's like a sacred marriage to the land. And this is like kind of Celtic mythology where, and it's sort of intertwined with like Oak and Holly King a little bit. But so the sacred marriage to the land is like like the woman embodies the land. The sovereignty queen is the embodiment of the land. Mm-hmm. The stag king is sort of your king of the land, and the queen, the land, she must approve of him. And this is very like Arthurian in essence. Okay. So like Pendragon type, whatever. So, so there's like a sex ritual involved with this, where the man this is the sacred marriage to the land, where he's committing himself and his life and his strength to the land, and he lives in service to her. So even if he is the king, he's still in service to her, to the land. And she's always the ultimate authority, right? So that's how I've always kind of analyzed this scene. But I think there's so many ways to like look at it too. But there's definitely some sacrificial aspects to like the stag king. Like if you're unable to protect the land, then you maybe like sacrifice to to usher in a stronger king, or perhaps the crops are failing and that kind of thing, and then they might sacrifice you just to sort of give to the land, offer blood to the land. So there's something to that. And like we can kind of see that in this circumstance because there's so many, like they don't have food. There's no game coming around. They were they were struggling to forage and find food. So this idea that Travis could embody the Stag King, and then that was their reasoning behind sacrificing him or shedding his blood to the land, which would appease the land, and then hopefully they would give a gift of meat, or your crops would flourish and that kind of thing. And that's sort of the idea behind that.
And they're also like very, as we saw, like when the shrooms kick in, you know, Thaisis becomes the tree and they're starting to feel the vibrations of the earth beneath them. And then Lottie goes to the tree, the half tree, and goes in and says, we're not going to be hungry. Then she goes to Shauna's baby belly, you know, feeling the kick, the heartbeat. They're kind of already giving that homage and like, you know, appreciation to earth as it is before, and kind of already like worshiping it in a sense. And I think that's important to point out here to go with that, because I think Lottie is bringing that, but really when we think about who's the queen of the land, it's Nat that's mapping out the land. It's Nat that's drawing actually all of the stuff. It's Nat that's hunting and getting the food. Lottie, I mean, the bear situation, I'm not sure, but
well, I think that like Lottie is the first to identify that, and so she's the prophet. But like she even says, you know, the wilderness always loved you the most, and so Nat can be the queen. You can still have a prophet while you have you know, a ruler, or like a mage to your, you know, to your king or your queen. And so I think that's like what Lottie is, you know, or she's almost like a Merlin in a sense, where she's identifying who the true ruler is, and then upholding that with the others. So.
And speaking of the prophets, I just want to point out, because I forgot to mention it last episode with the flight of the bumblebee, but the prophet Elijah goes up into the sky with a chariot of wings and fire, just like Laura Lee. So I've actually put like a lot of the prophets kind of similar to this type of behavior. But yes, the prophet Daniel, he was the Goliath, and we see like Lottie with the bear, kind of like she becomes like a Goliath type, and with the stone. I'm sorry, not Goliath. David and Goliath. David, not Daniel. David. And so David also was a prophet to a king who got jealous, and there was situations with that too that kind of reminisce with Lottie a little bit between her and Nat in the future. So so Laura Lee flew too close to the sun, but they're not like that. It's I don't know what the exact wording is for it, but it's a similar story where the prophet Elijah goes up and he goes to go live with God, and he's in a chariot of fire that goes up to, you know, heaven. And also the prophet Elijah doesn't die. He lives forever in heaven. He lives forever. So that brings it back round circle to why we see Laura Lee in the future always haunting, because she doesn't go on to another realm. There's 3 people who stay in that realm of the living in the Bible. And then that also goes back to these comments with Hades and Cabin Daddy. And Hades is actually in the Bible, and Hades, and it's like the realm of where the souls and spirits go before their soul is taken to heaven or hell. It's like actually like a whole other realm besides it. And so there's the different realms of hell and Hades and the underworld. And it's actually like really it's in the Bible. Hades is in the Bible. It's part of the storyline, and it's I actually think that this is it. Cabin Daddy is a Hades, like we've been waiting for you, and Laura Lee's there because she hasn't crossed over 100% yet. Jackie's there, she gets the hot cocoa. Well, we'll talk about that next episode.
I just wanted to share this photo just because I really like it a lot, and I love that there's this, like, Lottie is carrying this horn around, which, by the way, is like, where did the horn come from? Like, what animal did you get a horn from out in the wilderness? That had to be imported, right?
It had to be in the cabin, probably.
Yeah, but like he would have had. There's nothing out there that had. I mean, I guess it. But that's not a goat horn. That's like clearly a bull horn. But anyways,
big enough stag or elk. Maybe
they have like.
I mean,
I don't know.
You can narrow out the inside.
What's that?
You could narrow out the inside of the bones for things.
Yeah, but it's like to a point here.
Yeah, it's like a crescent moon types.
Yeah, which on that note, the crescent moon. So like horns and crescent moons are all or just moons in general. And then like bulls, that's all like sacrificial symbolism. So all of this what is tying into that whole yeah, it could have been in the cabin and she found it. Yeah, but Cabin Daddy would have had to have bring it. So it's just interesting that it's there. It's like a very distinct yeah, it's a cattle horn, and
it looks like it looks cattle for sure.
And so it's just a distinct item for it to be out there because there's not wild cattle in Vancouver, BC, and so I don't know. That's an interesting thing, but it also
bison.
What's that?
Bison, oxen, bison.
I don't think they hang out on that side of the mountains. Or in that forested, they're more tundra, you know?
This is like 1996. The World Wide Web is there. We're on globalization terms now, so who knows?
I don't know. I think it's unique that it's there. I mean, it has a lot of symbolism behind it. It's definitely connected to sacrificial symbolism. And so all of this, like, I love the scene that Lottie's carrying it around because it's perfect for her to be carrying around. But
I like Jasmine Savoy Brown's face here.
Yeah,
Taita, she's
loose. I like to see it, Taita. I like to see it. Hold on, I've got a couple pictures of Ty and Van that I'll share. Because they do, so Ty made these masks for her and Van, and so that Van can feel, because Van was kind of like, she's been really depressed, she got injured. She probably feels like crap. She probably hurts. She doesn't have medication. She doesn't have antibiotics. She probably feels ugly. And all the other girls are like, we're going to get dressed up and have this dance, this party. And so it was really sweet of Ty to like go out of her way to make these beautiful masks. Like they're super unique. They're really cool. And then she made them for her and Van so that she would wear one too. So Van wouldn't have to feel weird. And this is again tying to them and their like, goddess, like especially Thaisa's triple face goddess connection to Hecate. These two are really connected in that way. And then I think Ty's altar is, the third aspect of that. But it also connects to it also connects to season 2 when they have the ritual and they wear their masks there, which equally badass masks.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something to like the two sides of the faces that they equal one, that they're so compatible. Like that's, they mirror each other. They're both like, they remind me of Two-Face and his girls. I don't know if you remember the one with and these are the two faces of each other. And unfortunately the evil side, Tree Tie, has taken over Van a lot in these
Tree Tie.
Yeah.
So I like Tree Tie's mask actually. I like Van's actually. I like the birch. I don't know. They're all cool. I love this because it's got the feathers and it's just cute.
But they definitely are one though. Like and then you see them in the homecoming parade. They come out 2 by 2 as their altar or their other people. And I thought it was interesting because in the future we have Misty and Nat, and then Nat and Misty were both separate here, or Misty comes out with Ben. But it's just how they came out together and now they're one. It is a whole mantle being born into itself here. And then now we see the later effects of it in season 2 with the abusive effects. But yes.
We have many questions about all that.
Sweet innocent love, how it starts and how it turns out.
Yeah, and we do see like also these two, they sneak off and they also have sex too in the wilderness.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
It's
so
actually
they have their own like sacred. Actually, like their sex scene to me is more
it's
like
sexy.
Authentically, well, yeah, definitely more sexy, but also like authentically like a marriage to the land kind of thing. Like that's how I kind of envision it. They're like right there on the earth. They're literally like making love. It's not just like they're effing. They're like in love with each other. There's like these beautiful moments, and Ty should take mushrooms more often. I think it agrees with her.
not just that. It's like you say take the mask off, and you still see Van, because I think this is where Thaisa consumes Van. Literally, she's consuming her in an orphical way, but she's also consumes her personality and starts like narcissistically consuming her here, because she's like, take off your mask, I want to see your face. And then but you see like Van has one red eye with the scars, and then like that, but either way she's beautiful to Ty, which was that's a beautiful moment. But I just couldn't help but think of like getting hot and heavy, sweat and petting. And they're also by the water too. So let's point that out. They're like not just on the land, they're but by the water. So I like how sweet Thaisa is here. And I don't think that we see this very much in her, about like, here, I made this for you because you're self-conscious. I did this sweet food for you.
Yeah, I like to see that.
In the future, we see, I'm afraid I'm going to kill you. Like, not so much this kind of side of her. And I think that's another thing initiating the fact that they are literally becoming one. And one of the songs that are played talks about how they fade into one. Which one? It's the world I know, because it's the world I know. And it talks about how we're fading into one. And this is just what they do with narcissistic consumption. And this is where I think you see that sweet side of Thaisa, because she's missing Van, and she's putting out what Van doesn't usually gives her. That's like a Van type of energy, spirit. Actually, I think. And when Van has lost her spirit, Thaisa is exhibiting that in this scene, making the mask and giving it. And I see that you feel, that you're not so secure and confident. Let me help you. Because that's something Van does to her all the way through the path, through the tying up with her. Van is Thaisa's confidence, and so they switch roles.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's sweet. I like to see this side to Ty. I definitely am a proponent of Ty eating more mushrooms on a regular basis. All right, so we get to this scene. So basically, while those two, actually, nice to throw out, they were not participating in the sacrificial stuff. And you did mention that Ty and Van, they were next to the water. And that, I think, also has to do with, actually, that has a couple of symbolic things, like, because Hecate, she is actually associated with the sea. But also Van and like her fire aspect, or her fire association, and then like with Ty sort of dousing that or something with her watery like energy or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying though.
Yeah. But you can drown in a water sign's energy, so that's something to be aware of. And I know, because I have two
I don't even want to go there.
And a Pisces, and I'm married to a Scorpio, so I
don't even want to go there.
Yeah,
I'm a fire air person, so and I've drowned in the Aquarius ex narcissistic husband. So
I am always attracting water sign people, but I'm an earth.
I know, that's where you feel me. You feel my earthly needs.
I know.
I love you.
Also, Geminis, really. I'm always attracting Geminis.
Well, I'm not just any Gemini, okay? I'm not. I'm a Taurus Gemini. I'm a cusp.
Yeah, you're on the cusp, okay?
And I'm a fire Gemini, so fire rabbit. What?
I'm a fire Capricorn, so, and air.
Well,
So I just
yeah, fire rabbit is my Chinese zodiac, but
drop your guys' signs in the chat. I'm a Capricorn.
You're rabbit too, right? Yeah.
What's that?
You're rabbit too, right? Chinese zodiac?
No, I think I'm like the rat or something.
Oh, hey.
I think I'm older than you.
Oh, let's not go there.
We don't have to get that deep. But no, I'm a Capricorn sun, Aquarius moon, Leo rising.
Listen, she sounds
makes perfect sense personally.
Your best friend being a Gemini sounds amazing.
I would know all about that. So, S roses, hey.
Well, the thing I love about Capricorns is like they don't take no shit, and they either love you or hate you. But like when they love you, they will bury the dead body with you. They're the friends that are ride or die. And most of my best friends in my life have been Capricorns, and unfortunately, a couple of them have faded and passed away. But I'm so glad that I was introduced to you, Faye, because you keep my fire burning. Faye, fire.
It can be an interesting time.
I
need Geminis in my life, otherwise I become too serious, So I need that shake it up.
I do shake you. I do shake you up all the time.
Yeah, we're like Shauna and Lottie. I mean, let's be real. You're Lottie and I'm Shauna.
I'm a Nat Lottie. Yeah, I guess.
I think it works. You're my prophetess. And I am your butcher.
I'll take that. Oh, you are the butcher. That's for sure. You should see Erin going to bat for me against people who want to people who hurt me. Erin's like, she's ready.
I don't even care. I think I hold a grudge longer than Mandy does.
Yeah, I'm like
Erin, like today. But
I'm like, Erin, let's be like Jesus. We don't need to hurt them back. And Erin's like, no, screw that.
I have nothing to say.
Oh, look, water rat. Hey.
Oh, hey. Oh, yeah. I'm like,
I love this.
Misty's little water rat.
Ooh, and a Pisces fire. I love a Pisces are. Woo. I like Pisces. Pisces are peculiar too. They're the ones who are also like they either love you or hate you, but they're ride or die. Yes.
My sister's Pisces. She's crazy. And my son's a Pisces also. They're emotional.
I have a weirdo. Felix is a weirdo Scorpio, like
of the world.
My child, weirdo Scorpio boy. There's no other words for it but a weirdo Scorpio. Like
same with my daughter, weirdo Scorpio girl.
Yeah, they're actually. So you're all invited to the wedding in about 25 years.
25.
Yeah.
They're getting married on February 5th.
Felix and Fiona.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, all right, moving on. Okay.
Oh, Misty's water rat.
Oh, wait. Okay, Hydrum. She's a Leo with Scorpio moon and rising. Ooh, spicy.
Erin, I put these up.
I like that. Yeah, keep dropping your signs, guys. I love to do this. I like to have these associations in my mind so I can like understand you better as a person. And whether you agree with me or not, I don't care.
It's for the manipulation and control tactics so that we can cannibalize you through social media.
No, I just like to know because like you can really like, I mean, I don't know. It helps me. All right.
I'm kidding. I don't have that much time. Get over yourselves.
It's a lot to learn. I have one of those little misty binders.
Oh, hey. No, you're awkward noises. That's dangerous. You're dangerous up in here. Look at that Scorpio.
Yeah, we have a lot of Scorpio energy going on, which I love. I like.
Yeah, where's my Geminis?
I do enjoy a Scorpio. They're just fiery. They're fun. They're dark individuals, and I like it. We vibe. We vibe like it's Doomcoming. Okay, so back to it. So things happen. So they are chasing Travis. They say they are like, oh, he's a stag. So they're chasing him with knives through the forest. And they catch him and they tie him to a tree and they're going to sacrifice him. And they're all pumped up on the moonlight and the shroom brew. And Lottie puts on her majestic crown of antlers and all the stuff. And she says, Shauna, you know what to do. And it gets a little bit crazy. I mean, it really, like, the first time you're watching this, it was like, whoa, what is going on? Is this for real right now? Like, whoa, they're getting crazy. Like, I've been out in the woods with my friends and we've gotten a little crazy, but like, not like this in
Not
the
yet.
year of our Lord. What'd you say?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not
but
yet.
We're planning that. We got to get together. Like, I mean, who wants to go visit Aaron with me? And we're going to go up there and do a little mini Yellowjackets Alaskan getaway.
You know, someone, I think it was the Twitter, I think it's called No Context Yellowjackets. I think, I'm not positive on that, but somebody posted this weekend. They had like a whole, they're
copying us. What?
They were copying us. No, they weren't. But they had a whole outline written up. They want Universal Studios to create a Yellowjackets like experience or whatever.
That's cool.
And they had like a whole proposal about it. And I was like, listen, that's crazy because who wants to go to Florida? Not me.
What?
Ever. No, I will not go there. It's too hot. It's too hot. This takes place in a very specific environment, and that is not Florida. So anyways, but
it's Universal Studios California too. But my dad used to work there. I love Universal Studios. That's my life. I think it's awesome. And I also think that it's amazing that someone actually took the time to write a whole proposal and the whole thing together. So props to them. Snaps for you.
Yeah. I told them we should collab and come up with something that is adjacent to our proposal of a wilderness experience in the wilderness, but come to Alaska instead of Canada, so then we don't have to deal with passports and whatnot. But
Michigan is like Bear Claw Island.
In Alaska, we can do the wilderness experience here. I have woods directly behind my house. We can do things. We can make it happen. There's plenty of amenities in my town, and it's quite lovely, to be perfectly honest.
So, how narcissisc of you to want everyone to come to you. Okay, first off.
That's how I live my life now.
Should also be in Michigan, because there's Bear Claw Island in Michigan. Or there's a Bear Island, which is really cool.
No, you guys want to come to Alaska. Trust me. I won't sacrifice.
I'm literally in my moving from Texas. It's either going to be back to Florida or up to Alaska with you. So we'll see. This is an ongoing debate for the next couple of months.
This is my life. I don't want to go anywhere. Like, I made the trek to get to Alaska, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to go anywhere, and I don't want to. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to make it a real good whatever to tempt me off of my island, because I don't want to. I like it here, and it's really nice. And I guarantee if you guys come and visit, we have a wilderness experience, you will feel the same. You won't want to leave.
Florida in October, November is perfectly doable. It's perfect. So I just want to argue that. But how queen of you that everyone should come to you, to your feet.
I mean, you said it, not me.
All right. No. I'll bear down.
Yeah, it would be fun. I'm telling you. I
think it's great. We should. I would love for you to share that. Maybe we can share the link, we'll drop the link in this.
Yeah, and it's on my Twitter also. If you guys,
okay.
Yeah.
Twatter. I call it twatter.
I don't like gross. They try to do this with Con of Thrones. I will not go to Florida. You will I don't even think if somebody bought my plane ticket, paid for a hotel, and paid for whatever sort of event, I don't think you could convince me to go to Florida. I just don't want to.
You can't even convince her to go to Bali when offering to pay for something. So there's no convincing Erin to go anywhere other than where she is.
Yeah, I might go to I want to go to Maine really bad. But
oh my gosh.
I really branched things out. No,
that is really
but if I'm going to go somewhere hot, if I'm going to spend a bunch of money, get on a plane, go somewhere hot, and do all that, I'm going to Italy. And that's already on my bucket list. That's my 40th birthday bucket list. And we don't have to talk about how soon that will be, but there's still time.
Hey, yeah, so send me a text and I don't know if you have me on media, but
Yeah,
I am on
Roses will go with you
I
to
am on
Bali.
Twitter. No, I'm trying to go this summer. I've been trying to go for the past 3 summers, but my friend has a retreat out there. So I want to go.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not
And
my
I'm like, Aaron, I don't have a job, but if I
hot,
sell all these
so, like,
things and
hot and
I want
sweaty
you to
and
come
like,
with me, my friend. And she's like, no, I'm not going there. I'm
yeah, I'm like, no,
okay.
I don't think so. I gotta go to Italy first. All right. If I'm gonna like fly somewhere across the world, I want to go to Britain and I want to go to Italy. And
why does it have to be first, that second? It could just be like when the time comes, you go.
Because it's priorities.
How
I mean, who knows? I could die. Like,
how earth of you to say that.
So.
First you plant the seed, then it sprouts. And I'm like, air, let's go when the wind blows.
Yeah, I know, Mandy. Well, that's your Gemini nature. You are literally like,
I'm all over.
All the Geminis I know, this the same way. Like, you're not happy unless you're traveling. When you're stuck and you're sitting somewhere and you're stagnant, you go crazy. But like when you're traveling and you're going and you're living, like that's when I see Geminis being the most happy in my experience.
Yeah. So you can get me on Twitter. I'll check it recently or send it to Aaron's Twitter. I don't really get on Twitter. I actually call it Twatter because I hate it. I think it's a terrible place. I hate the evilness. The atmosphere like chokes me personally, but I get on there occasionally and I'm at Mandolin there. And Mandolin 523 here. And or you can get at me on Aaron's and send your information. I can send you where my friend's thing that I'm trying to go to, and we can talk about it. Like, I'm down to invite whoever. It's a healing retreat. It's supposed to be like a healing and nature. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to go to Bali.
No, me and Wild Margarine, we're going to Italy and we're going to eat pasta and cheese and like see old historical sites and go to the Roberto Ferry exhibit. Oh, I would die. Well, if I got to meet him, goodbye.
Yeah. Yes, die. I love that. Okay. But like, look, all I got to do is go to your kitchen to get that. Okay. Why do I want to go to Italy?
Pretty good Italian food. But, I want some fresh Italian pasta, some like real cheese. Anyways, okay, we're off. We are off on a tangent. Okay, so we're coming back. So sacrifice. This was what we were talking about. Okay, before we started talking about Italy and cheese. Okay, so we have this situation and they're going to sacrifice Travis, and then thankfully so Nat had heard Jackie and her like pounding on the door at the cabin and all that. So she let Jackie out and they have this kind of weird moment of just like, they don't even say anything to each other, but like Nat saves her and lets her out, but they just kind of like look at each other like bitchy and then take off running to kind of see what's going on. And
I feel like that moment though was like, Nat's like, what the heck's going on? And Jackie's just, she knows that she was wrong. She doesn't want to say anything. Mm-hmm. She's not going to say.
Yeah. There's something like
Shauna
funny and ironic. Yeah, totally. Totally. It's like reminiscent of Jackie getting dropped off and then Shauna and Jeff going and banging in the car or something, but,
it's something.
But yeah, so then they come through and they catch this, everything that's going on. And
the pine cone.
The pine cone is interesting. And remember, going back, and we talked about that script from episode 5. Remember in that script also there was that scene of Travis, and there was another flashback of like I would presume be this scene, but it may be like a different scene entirely where they're like basically Travis has a frog in his mouth, and it's sort of the same idea of like he's going to be sacrificed, but he has a frog in his mouth. It's not a pine cone. So I don't know if again is it this scene or maybe next year on the equinox, maybe the sacrificial urge comes out, or maybe it could be like a summer solstice winter solstice. Well, this isn't winter. This is fall. So this would be equinox. So spring equinox, fall equinox.
So there's
Oh, go ahead.
So in the Bible, I'll just read it. There's like the 6th bowl of wrath, which they talk about that they got to get 3. And I saw 3 unclean spirits that looked like frogs coming out of the mouths of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. So I think that Travis is, and like we talked about, he is representing the beast.
Interesting.
The dragon, not quite sure. I think it might be Misty, or it might be a mix of Thaisa and Van. I'm not sure. But the false prophet, I definitely believe is Lottie. Like, I am pretty sure about this.
Say it again. So the false prophet, the beast, and what?
The dragon. So it's from Revelation. And there's so many aspects in Revelation that kind of refer to the story. But it talks about, okay, so I'll give the first. It's in the 6 bowls of wrath, and the 6th angel pulled out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east. And then I saw 3 impure spirits that looked like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. So maybe we're going to see 2 other frog-like type things, or maybe they kept it out of it for a reason, to try to make it not so directly associated to the Bible. I'm not sure, but I just thought that was, when you read me that in that episode, that's when I started getting onto this whole idea, actually. So, because like the croaking of the mouth is one of the signs of the false prophet, is their things will sound like croaks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wild Marjoram has a good idea here that the pine cone could represent the Bacchus. Because in the the Dionysus's thyrsus, as it's called, is like his wand, which is made of vines, and then it has like a pine cone at the top of it. So that's I like that observation. I wish we would have got that frog scene, because that would have been wild.
Yeah.
Maybe we will.
Remember, I made the thing for Dionysus with the pine cone for our Greek mythology. It's broken now, but yeah, frogs are witchy too, for sure. Frogs have a lot of symbolism, and actually they have a lot of symbolism of rebirth and the cycle of catasis as well, becoming, and the reproductive cycle, and how they are amphibians and like kind of swimming through the murk with no eyes. You know, they're blinded, and then they start to become, and which is familiar. There's also like a lot of other symbolism, and then if you look into the like Chinese zodiac symbolism and things, they were like gateways to. I just watched The Tiger's Apprentice, and they have like this little dim sum character her name's Cynthia, and she's actually a frog, and she opens up the gates and portals, and she keeps like tabs on all of the zodiacs. It's really cute, actually. So
that's cute.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a great little movie that's out recently that I really enjoyed.
I love this shot too of Lottie and Nat, because they kind of go at it, and this is sort of the first we kind of see of these two like going at each other, and also they are very like sun and moon, connected with each other.
Defense, offense too. Like I think Lottie's like a wing, and Nat's like I think she's a sweep or something. I'm not sure.
Well, and also like in their Greek counterparts, like I see Lottie as Apollo and Nat as Artemis, as we've discussed, and they are twins, and they represent the sun and moon. And Nat here, she's got the knife, so that's kind of like, and it's funny because Lottie had the horn earlier, and we talked about the horn being associated with the moon, but the horn is also like a male symbol as well, so it kind of like represents Apollo in that sense. Or it's almost like she's trying to sort of embody this like moon, like she has the antler crown on, and all this kind of stuff. So Lottie's almost trying to like embody like the moon aspect, whereas Nat is like, hell no, that's my realm kind of thing. And so she knocks the the knife from her hand. She knocks her on the ground. She's like, that's enough of your, weird shit. And Lottie just laughs at her. So you can kind of see almost like this dynamic of like, if they were Artemis and Apollo, they were brother and sister. And let's say Apollo is like, I'm the moon god. I'm this, I'm that. Look, I've got this horn. I've got the knife. I've got this crown. I'm the moon goddess. And then she comes and she just pushes Apollo on the ground, and she's like, that's enough of your shit, kind of thing. And so it's just kind of like this funny like dynamic that these two have that we're starting to see more and more of, and we definitely see more of it going into season 2. So
there's also this laughing thing. I didn't really see it as a laughing at her. I saw it as laughing. It's like leaders who have been promoted by holy laughter, and said laughter is a result of like the joy and like the supernatural being of being present in the spirit. There's like a Holy Spirit laughter. There's a Holy Ghost laughter. There's also laughter in terms when demons possess you, things like that. And it's also like accompanied by miraculous healing and stop of depression. So we see Lottie too, like she's not really depressed anymore. She's kind of like got this whole power thing with her, and she's taking it. It's a phenomenon where the person, they laugh uncontrollably like that, and it's kind of like a maniacal laugh in a sense too, where she's like, nothing you do matters anymore because this is what's happening. So she's very spirit realm at this point. She's beyond the doorway per se. And I like the whole thing with her and the knife, because we see again this battle right here projected and when they're going hunting, where it's like, I don't need the knife, I have the spirit, I have the wilderness. And that's like, I need the knife, like I need this stuff, I need my gun. So it's like this is the beginning of that battle.
Yeah, we'll see more and more of it between these two, because there is like, we see Van and Misty and Mari all start to look at Lottie as though she's sort of their leader, whereas Nat, she's not necessarily trying to be their leader, but she's looking for the acknowledgement and respect that comes with the fact that she's like the person who feeds them, who feeds the group and keeps them alive. And Lottie's spiritual connection isn't going to keep them alive. It's not going to feed them. But the two of them working together is a completely different sort of dynamic that can benefit everyone, really. So yeah. All right. So I think we should wrap it up by talking just a little bit. We kind of talked about this, but probably about like Shauna and Jeff in the adult timeline, and then just sort of like leading up to Adam's apartment and the other girls coming in. So Shauna and Jeff, they hash it out. So basically, Shauna finds the glitter in the closet. She realized that her journals were gone. She goes, she kills Adam. She comes back. She looks in the thing again, and her journals are there. And so she realizes, like, oh my God, okay, what, like, this had to be just such a weird, like, mind F for her. But Jeff, had been the one who took it. And so she's sitting there and she's like, honey, do you know where this glitter came from? And like, Jeff's a terrible liar also. So he's just like,
And so the point here,
oh, go ahead.
She goes, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do, Jeff? Oh, never mind. Nobody got killed. Don't worry about it, honey. Like, I just did it. And he tells the truth. But she doesn't tell the truth until he starts asking and prying her for the truth. But it's, what did you do? And then later on, when Jeff comes out and tells her, talks about it and taking the fall, she's like, oh, that's sweet of you, but I can't even give you that, because what will happen is this, and the Yellowjackets will come out. Like, I hate Shauna so much in this episode. Like, what did you do, Jeff? No, bitch. What? You're pregnant with your friend's baby. Check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, okay?
Well, those two, they're just a bag of guilt. And I do love that Shauna says that line where she's like, can we just not pretend like we are not these people?
Oh, God.
Yeah, but I do, like Shauna, she's going to justify her actions by believing that Jeff was doing something dishonest, which he was. It just wasn't the thing that she thought he was doing. But regardless, like, Jeff is not perfect in this situation either. And if he would have been, like, honest with her, that would be a different story. I had a brain fart. I had something that I was going to say that was just something you just said.
But you see, though, like, also when Shauna comes out, so they go from the bedroom where they're spilling out the truth. They're letting you know. But then the truth's on the table. Guess what? They end up out on the table. And then they end up back in the living room too, which I thought was very symbolic of the nature of their relationship. Because we talked about how Jeff doesn't, or how Shauna doesn't take Adam to the couch. He takes him to the bedroom. But see, here in this picture is a prime example. And then also at the end of this episode, and I think next episode too, they spend their time on the couch. Their whole relationship is formed on the couch, watching Dateline, which Jeff says to her, I don't think we've watched Dateline hours together. We know how this isn't going to end. And I actually do think Jeff is, like, honorable for trying to take the fall. And then she won't even let him do that. You know, she won't give him that power. She's going to continue to be the queen.
Yeah, and also this moment where Jeff says, I'm going to take the fall, and she has, like, kind of a minimal response, but then she's more reactive to the idea that, like, how it's going to look to everyone else. You know, she was like, well, then they're going to figure out what else you've been up to, and that's not going to look like, I think she said something like, that's not going to look good for anyone, or something like that. And it's like, why do you even care about how you look right now? Like, that's not any part of the equation at this point. But
it is in her mind. Yeah, that's what narcissists do. That's what they do. They care more about everyone else's opinion on them versus how you actually do, what you're suffering, what you're trying to do in their life. They will defend other people instead of defend you.
Mm-hmm. And also what you said about the bed, you know, that even goes back to, like, their younger relationship too, because they weren't even sleeping together in the bed then. They were just, like, doing it in Jeff's car and that kind of thing. So it is kind of funny. Like, they do have this sort of aversion to the to their own bed, their own marital bed. Which is strange, but that's part of, like, Shauna being haunted by Jackie, because she never feels fully immersed even in her own marriage, which is terrible because she's been married for, like, over 20 years, you know?
Yeah. They don't even do that in, like, do we see them sleeping together even when they come home and he's like, how'd you sleep? Or they kind of, like, tag team up. They don't sleep in the same. They're on different shifts.
No, I mean, Shauna's sleeping in the bed at that one time, but no, like, the only time they're, like, in the bed in the same room is after they hook up, but Shauna sees the message from Bianca. So it's just, like, ruined. Like, that only time they sort of had, because, okay.
Oh, so yeah. I forgot about that scene.
2 or 3, and it's after Shauna kills the rabbit, and so she's kind of horny. And so she goes after Jeff, and they hook up, like, they start messing around in the living room.
Armoire.
Yeah, but then they end up in the bedroom, like, in the end, because it does that scene of them, like, and just, like, I'm going to go take a shower, but then she sees the message from Bianca. So,
and remember, she puts him down. Like, he's like, okay, let's do the role playing. Oh, I'm going to go buy hello, I want to buy an armoire, and I want to do this. And of course, she wants to buy a closet, right? What's an armoire? It's another closet.
Oh my God. Yeah. She's like, I need another closet inside of my closet, inside of my bedroom that I don't sleep with my husband in.
And just like an armoire, why would you? And he has a problem selling the sectionals. Mm-hmm. And then that's where most of the relationship takes place. That's, like, pretty much their altar in a sense. Like, you think most of the time it's an altar in the bed. Sorry, there was a bug and I literally just caught it. You go over there. But anyway, they take this sectional as their basic means of their whole relationship, and it's sad. And then they have sex in the weird spots, like Adam's office or Adam's, like, that would, you know, and that's relevant to Jackie and Travis having sex in the romantic upstairs where the dead guy was, like,
in Shauna's bed.
Yeah. So there's not,
the only people that need to be having sex in Shauna's bed are Jackie and Shauna. And that's it. Not Jeff, not Travis. Well, I guess Travis can spread his seeds, but he's a shared commodity is how I refer to it.
Look at this. Okay, so this just came to my mind. Taissa and Shauna share their secrets in the bed. In the bed of Jackie, quote unquote, Callie reborn.
Yeah.
Jackie's bed, Jackie's bedroom. It looks like Jackie's bedroom, Callie's bedroom. They're in Callie's bed and someone else's bed spilling their secrets.
Interesting.
I know. This. Oh, we gotta look at this. We gotta go back and see.
Marry Harry.
Yes.
Okay.
They should have just been in book club. You're right.
Yes, they should have gone to book club. Jeff realizes there's no book club. The most shocking thing out of the whole situation.
But those of you who follow us, who've been with us this whole time, you know that there is a book club. There definitely is a book club.
Jeff, don't worry, you're invited. We can give you the list. Did we have any books this week or we haven't really had any books in the last couple weeks, actually. So
yeah, I think so. I've been trying to look for it. I haven't found one yet. I think maybe it's something in what Jackie tells Shauna about how we had to make all the stops. But I think that the only book is
actually we did have a book, Misty's book of spells.
But I think right now what's happening is that like after this there is book club, but I'm not sure on that. We're gonna have to find out. I'm still gonna do some citizen detecting, but we definitely have book club for season 2. We have book club every episode for season 2.
Yeah.
So
we'll try and keep better track of our books. We need to actually come up with like a book list.
Well, I have a list. I want to make little shorts of it and maybe even videos. We'll see. But I want to start with some YouTube shorts. It's just I've been promising these to Aaron, and I will tell you, I've been in the wilderness. I haven't even been able to find my microphone or computer half the times because of like moving. But anyway, it's coming. It's coming. It is.
My ultimate like book club book that I want to get caught up on in the off season, I think I want to try and read before season 3 is Paradise Lost, because that is one that Shauna mentions in the very first episode, in the pilot episode, and I haven't actually read it, but I was doing a little bit of research on it, and it sounds like it could possibly be like a really good framework for the entire story. Like we're talking about like Greek mythology and like biblical esoteric Christianity and that kind of thing. And of course other like literary like things that are here, that like the Magus and all of that. But being the very first episode, her mentioning Paradise Lost and it having so many like, because it's basically about like a descent or an ascent out of hell and then the descent back in or something of that nature. And I think there's definitely something to all of that, to the story, that it could be for like the entire story. So I don't know.
There is.
Yeah,
there definitely is. Yes, the Magus too. We actually put Charles Dance. He narrated it. We have some links on that talking about it in season 2. If you just YouTube it, Charles Dance does it, and it's so good. And you can listen to the book with like 6 hours or something. It was. Or
it's not terribly long, and it's pretty good.
We listened to it that week cleaning the house, and then referenced each other. But yeah, it's coming. We haven't really officially decided on actual book club, but I definitely want to make a series of shorts, highlighting each book club for each episode here. But we have talked about doing a Patreon exclusive with that if we can get enough interest, right, Aaron? So
yeah, we'll figure something out.
It's Aaron's channel. She just gives me a voice, so and a platform to express a voice.
And if you guys if you're not a patron, and I know times are tight right now, this economy, these Bidenomics that we are living amongst, but if you guys are interested, I do have a Patreon, and we have a lot of fun exclusives right now. A part of my Alice Rivers video is up on there, and I'm almost done editing it. My computer's just kind of being a bitch right now. But it's another like almost hour long video, so I'm kind of like, okay, come on computer, you can do it. So
for real though,
for me, guys, send me all the good vibes for my computer to render this video for me, because it didn't want to. So we need to upgrade our equipment, because I mean my computer is literally from like
2008. And I'm like, holy crap, this is like 15 years old now. I need to get a new one because a lot of my stuff isn't compatible even anymore to the new stuff.
Yeah, I need a new computer also. I mean, I'm on a Chromebook, which I guess is crappy. I mean, I love my Chromebook. They're great. I love my Chromebook, but I do work her hard and probably harder than she'd like to work. So yeah, I need a new computer also, but you know, these things. So that's why, you know, if you want to join the Patreon, that would be very helpful for me. And I can upgrade my shit eventually. So
the gods allow it. Yes. Yeah. For flow forth abundance of the wilderness.
Exactly. Spread the seeds. All right. So last but not least. Oh my God, Shauna, you freaking killed him.
You left this man in your house, Shauna?
Please, I need a little less judgment here. It's not like I woke up today and decided I was going to murder my lover.
Oh yeah, and then her sob story, like she's just, and Nat's like, wait, tell me again how this guy, questioning all of her, because Nat sees right through the BS.
Yeah, she's like, shout out to those pants. This guy killed Travis. Like, she knows her man, and that's the thing too. Like, I sympathize a lot with Nat about Travis, and I don't think a lot of people do because they would rather not like Travis, or like a lot of people in the fandom, they just choose to not like Travis, or like the fact that Nat like loves him. But I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody killed my husband and it was like a smaller person than him, I would be like, that's the guy that killed my husband. No, I don't believe that. Like, so I can feel where Nat's coming from in this moment, because we have to remember Travis was like working on a farm, you know, so he's got that farm boy strength, and that's like some deep, strong muscles. And plus he's a hunter. He's just not like a wussy guy. And so Nat's not buying it that, you know, this guy is the cause of his death. But anyways, yeah. So
are they surprised?
Yeah.
Not really, are they? They're not. They're like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, really, Thais is like, how are you going to do this to me right now when I'm doing this? And then she's like, this guy is not the guy.
It's like a fairy tale.
Adam apple pie.
Make him into a pie.
Adam's apple pie. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, she really just stabbed him right in the
slaughtered with a smirk
and killed him.
I don't know, that wasn't it, but that younger Shauna, Sophie smirk. It was like you can see her smiling in that. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the only times you see her smile. It's when she's killing Adam.
It's a creepy situation. So they, you know, and Shauna tells Jeff, like, she confesses to what she's done, but she's like, I'm gonna go take care of it, kind of thing. Like, I'll take care of it and then I'll be home later. And also she takes Jeff's little duffel bag, the one that Callie had made for him, to go, you know, do the cleanup. But
they should have caught that. No, because it got thrown back.
Yeah, they must have. But I wonder if it has like his DNA, or, you know, what's the deal with that? But it's interesting. They get all this, like, she left him right there on the floor just bleeding. You would imagine probably like he bled through that little throw rug they have on the ground. And there's just a lot of things. And then like Thaisa said, your DNA is all over this place. You're all in his phone. You're in his cloud. Like, they're not going to have a hard time finding you. This was really stupid, Shauna. This was really stupid.
Their faces look like when the dog poops on the floor.
Yeah.
Like when the dog poops on the floor, you're like, ugh. And Shauna's like, oh, this dumb dog. And like, you're like, oh, come on. Yeah. And beyond that, it's like, this is it. Thaisa has the chance to tell the truth again in this situation that she doesn't, because they're talking about the blackmailing and what leads up to it. Shauna doesn't tell the truth. She actually manipulates and lies more about the truth. Mm-hmm. And then all Nat really wants is the truth. And she's like testing them. And then it's like, the truth is the only person
and then
that can
also
help them
Shauna lies
Misty.
right to her face, because Nat's like, well, where's my money? And Shauna's like, I don't know, but meanwhile, her husband's out shopping for new dresses for her at Saks Fifth Avenue. And yeah, so it's pretty messed up of Shauna to continue her lie here. I feel like if Shauna would have come clean and said whatever about Jeff, I don't know how. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so what did Shauna say? I think in season 2 or something like that, she says that if one of their spouses had done what Jeff had done, she would have killed them.
Yeah,
Shauna says that.
Yeah.
And so there's just this incredible double standard, and also just like the lengths she's willing to go to lie and cover it up, and to the point that Natalie ends up dying and she never found the truth out, not about Travis, but also not about the money. And that's something that really bothers me, is for season 2, is that they never, that didn't come up. Like, I would have loved to have seen, well, it did come up, but it was so brief. And I felt like there should have been a little more like consequences for Shauna taking Nat's money and lying.
I think there will be. I actually think that since Misty's the one that killed her, that Misty was going to become queen. And I know Shauna wants to be, or we want Callie to be, but Misty's the one who killed her. Misty's the one who took that power. And I also think that this whole thing about Nat, like, you remember, she sells her car. She lets everyone else take the driver's seat. As the queen, she lets other people dictate their own roles and responsibilities. And that's what a true queen should do. That's what a player, the team player, does. That's why we see her being the voice of reason, the voice of truth. Nat is leading from her heart and allowing people to do it. And she knows that they're not, she knows that not something is not quite right in that milk, the buttermilk sour, but she also knows that she's got to let them play their parts, and everyone has their role. And she's also, distracted because her love was taken away from her. The thing that filled her from the outside was taken away. And even though he didn't actually fill her completely, and he was like abusive to her and it was toxic, so says all the other ones, there was this special connection there that she's lost, and she lost a connection to all of them. And it's because there never really was that connection, other than the external circumstance where they all lie so much. And this is Thaisa's lies keeping her in the dirt, eating her, burying her, literally burying her. And Shauna's lies bleeding her cut by cut. So that's what they say. The sociopath narcissistic behavior is a death by 1,000 cuts. That's Shauna.
Yeah.
And Thaisa turning straight into psychopath, that's just like straight on murder, or straight on like, I'll light you on fire, arsenal crap. So maybe Tree Tie is the one who set him on fire.
It would be so interesting, like, if Shauna hadn't have killed him. Anyways, if she didn't, and then he would have like if she would have, like, I don't know, set up a situation where they were like questioning him, so we could find out, more answers, versus, based on her actions, then we know, like, in season 2, it's Shauna who's the one that's being questioned, being, interrogated, where they should have just done that to Adam.
Well, and that's another thing where her, complex PTSD is coming into play, because she's caught in a situation where she felt the same kind of feelings that were triggering her to stab him or grab a knife. Knife is her safety. It's her safety net, where she was being, narcissistically hurt. That hurt came out because her secrets were coming out, and her secrets were no longer in her closet. She's blaming anyone and everyone for it, except for her, for the, looking inside her own house. She's not looking inside her own house, never looking inside, period. So that's, the most important thing. And even Nat is like telling her, even Nat's like, why did you kill him? Why didn't you keep him alive? And then she wants to, instead of saying whatever she wants to say, why did you shoot the other guy? She's always on the offense, or always on, like, ready to attack. So it's very and that's actually probably a good point with when we're talking about soccer positions, who's on offense and who's on defense. Emotionally, physically, not just physically in your player point, but emotionally, and where they stand on protecting each other and things like that. So
all right, so Wild Marjoram asks, so Jeff blackmailed extra money for clothing expenses? No, Jeff was, so he's being, his business is not thriving because there's like an online business that's sort of
furniturefam.com.
Yeah, exactly. Stealing a bunch of business. So anyway, he borrowed money from these like mobster guys and to get himself out of debt, and then they wanted it back. And so I think he used Natalie's money to pay them back. But you know, of course he had a little extra. And so he goes out, he buys Shauna that dress, and he's like, well, you're homecoming royalty. So you need to dress the part kind of thing. And the dress is totally
yellow.
Shauna. What's that?
The yellow, make sure you represent that, because in the scene where she kills Adam, she's wearing that same yellow.
Yeah, she's wearing a yellow sweater, so it's like the yellow jacket. But then when she actually goes to the reunion, she chooses to wear a purple dress, which I think, indicates that she's like ascended that stage, or there's something to their sort of ritual where they're ascending from a yellow jacket into like something more, whether it's sort of like this kind of goddess archetype. And of course, it's depending on who's acknowledging that. We've talked about that many times, where it's like Adam or Walter or Travis, these guys who sort of acknowledge these women for their like graduated status, I guess you might say, or like the whatever title or accolades they've sort of distinguished themselves with in their experiences, right? So the yellow being sort of like the juvenile stage, and then like the purple being like you're ascended into
royalty
position. And we talked about this at like the Eleusinian Mysteries. The high priestess, she wears purple. The only other person in the in that time period who's wearing purple is going to be the emperor. And if you're like in the presence of the emperor, you especially would not wear purple, but the only person who would be the high priestess of the Eleusinian Mysteries. And there were even certain emperors who were initiated into the mysteries as well and kept that branch of faith, I guess you might say.
Also in that next episode too, we'll talk about that, but not only is she wearing purple, but she does the homecoming queen dance. She actually gets up there, and he's like, Jess, like, are you okay with all this? It's fine, it's cool.
Yeah.
So she takes a regal position. I think it's because she remembers the wilderness coming back out in her, reminding her that not you're a queen, but we're all queens and kings. Okay, so don't forget that everybody is up in here. I gotta cue the music. We all have it in us to become the king and queen, and we're meant to be kings and queens for this next generation, to take us from the inside out into the royalty and claim our heritage. So that's how I want to say. It's true, though. It's true.
Yeah. So, and I also hope that Adam's story is not over, because I think that he's just got so many secrets that have yet to be exposed. I think it's all going to tie into like Lottie's cult and everything she's got going on, but we won't be able to find out until season 3. Although I do have a lot of theories about it.
So Lottie doesn't wear orange. She wears like heliotrope, which is plants that she wears clothes dyed in like blues and purples and yellows. The heliotrope is dyed by the sun.
Do. But Lottie herself, she wears like the gold and the yellow, but that's because she's the sun. So the heliotrope color that they wear, heliotrope is a flower, and flower follows the sun. That's like what it's known for.
But so she wears purple too, and all the orange. Like she wears all those colors. Like it comes in different shades of colors. But the point is that it's heliotrope that is dyeing, and they all hand dye. They use their hands to create and hand dye their clothes. And a lot of their followers are like the purple. It's probably like a belt, like a karate belt. Like you get certain colors as you adapt up or something.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else wears the gold or the yellow though. That's gonna be, and that also is like connected to her association with Apollo, because he's like a sun god, and so she's just, that's like her color to wear as the leader. Whereas the rest of them wear the heliotrope because she wants them all to be equal and that kind of thing. But they're all equally below her. So,
which is the problem, is why she's not healing, is because she's using them as her outward, tools to make her feel worthy inside. So that's why she's not really wearing that crown.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's about everything this week. We've kind of discussed it all. And of course, here we are almost at 3 hours again, because that's how we roll. But and next week will probably be the same, because it's our last episode of season 1. But we have fun, don't we? And I appreciate all of you guys who've been watching. If you're still here in the chat, Wild Marjoram, cue awkward noises. We had Roses here, Mrs. Duncan the Tall. I don't know if you're here, but I love you. Let's see. Lottie's fashion changes drastically when she goes to therapy. Yeah, she wears like the white sweater.
Lottie wears purple when she's going and cutting herself in the nighttime, trying to get she wears like this kind of whole purple outfit. It's very like Indian regal.
It was red.
Red, purple. Bring it up. Where's it at? We gotta find it.
I'll show you. Okay. What episode was that?
Well, we're gonna have to go back into this.
I'll find it. Hold on.
Yeah, she wears I think the whole therapy thing is that she wants to give like that image that she's normal. Like she's not this crazy rainbow colors.
Yeah, she where is that?
Let's see, did you get it?
Hold on.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
No, it was red because it's very distinguished red because hold on, here we go.
It's like the blood.
Yeah, she does it when it's like sacrificial, because she also is wearing red when she goes to see Travis at his house. So here she's kind of wearing it, but it's not.
Here, let me see. Hold on. I lost you. Where did it go? Okay.
Can you hear me?
I think, but it's like a purple red. Maroon. We'll go in between.
But yeah, because it's like associated with the sacrifice and everything, because she wears that reddish colored dress also when she goes to, or basically when Travis dies. And so there's something to do, because she's giving blood to the
she's sacrificing Travis. That's why.
Yeah. So giving it blood.
She's wearing like the blue dark colors also in the when she's trying to hand out the drinks to the girls that have the cyanide in it. Was it cyanide? Mm-hmm. What was the drug?
Phenobarbital, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But then anyways, some of the times you see her. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. I love her fashion. I love all their fashion choices. There's so much to analyze with like their fashion in every single episode. Yeah. There's always, I mean, that's why we go on for 3 hours, because usually we're discussing little things like this, and there's so many characters to discuss. But each of them they have their own unique, like, color schemes. They're, like Greek associations. They're, just every single moment is so deeply thought out. I love it.
Well, and then the costume designer, Marie Shelley, I think it's Shelley. I'm not sure. But there is like an interview that she talks about where they contain Easter eggs and red herrings. As we see, like the herring, everything is specifically given to you for a specific reason. And then we actually do see Lottie in this heliotrope purple pink color in episode 1, where she's wearing this sweater, and it's kind of the similar color of her followers. She's wearing a pink sweater.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I remember when we
were the pajamas. Her pajamas are pink. Remember her like little.
Yeah, she does wear a lot of pink. I think there's some pink association too, because like Laura Lee wore a lot of pink, and even Jackie wears a lot of pink also.
But like, so the purple color she wears when she's talking as Outer Realms, and there's like one scene where she's wearing an overcoat that's like mix of purple and yellow, and then like a maroon kind of. Yeah, there's a mixtures. We should do a fashion episode.
My favorite thing to analyze this season, or like this rewatch time, has been when we were watching episode 1. I was literally like over analyzing their shorts
Everything
they were wearing during soccer practice, because I was like, oh, like you could tell, like Jackie and Lottie, they had like Adidas name brand shorts. And then like Van and Shauna, they were wearing, and Natalie even, they were wearing like, well, Shauna specifically, I think her shorts had like 2 stripes. So they were like basically that generic Adidas brand. And then like Van and Nat were wearing just like plain sort of kind of, just whatever, like the cheapest shorts you can get. Like there's no embellishment on them whatsoever. Yeah. And it's because they're like the poor kids.
Let's say we know this because we were the poor kids wearing those shorts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, but I just love that. I was like, oh my God, I've watched this too many times where I'm literally like analyzing their soccer shorts, because even that detail was well thought out for the, for the costuming.
Whatever. So interesting. I see like the one like kind of scene with Lottie's, yeah, man, we should go back and look at it, because I'm looking at all her pictures right now. But her mother is wearing a purple jacket that's like similar to the one she makes her blood sacrifice with.
Jackie's,
or Lottie's, yeah, oh, where they're sitting down and talking to the doctor, and Lottie's in the white. She's kind of pure and innocent still. And then we see also the scene where Lottie is wearing the fur jacket when the plane crashes, and she's wearing like that pink dress underneath. But like, yeah, it switches. So it switches. It seems like when it's nighttime. So in the daytime, Lottie's wearing this like orange with a gold covering on the outside. And nighttime, she wears like gold with a purple covering. So I think it has to
associated with the sun. So
yeah, but I think it has to deal with the night though, when she wears purple.
Interesting.
Because at this point, maybe she's the queen of the night, because we see during the daytime Nat wearing purple again. Nat starts to wear purple when we see all the girls together by the Shauna's van, that scene where they're all coming back and seeing Lottie, and then Nat's wearing purple during the day. And so maybe it's the symbolization, because they have switched where Nat's kind of now the sun, and Lottie, even though she's outwardly seeming as the sun, inwardly she's not. Inwardly she's very dark. Mm-hmm. So it could be that juxtaposition.
And I think they shifted also. Like, I think that was a huge moment when Nat died, that there's a huge shift that Lottie is actually going to move into that dark position. She's going to take on that sort of moon symbolism, prophetess kind of thing. And maybe not necessarily like as their leader, as like an Artemis, the way that Nat was, but just as a... like just her general state, because you could even see like as season 2 evolved, season 1 also, like season 1 younger Lottie, her appearance completely evolves by the end of season 1, but then season 2 Lottie, same thing happens. She's wearing a lot of gold, a lot of bright shiny things, and then as the season evolves, by the end of it she's wearing, I think, black, isn't she, in the final episode? So
black and blue, stuff like
that. Gradually starts to wear darker colors. She starts out so bright and pure and shiny and like queenly, shining sun, and then as the season evolves, she's breaking down. It's literally like a breakdown of her and it's funny because Nat, she wears just that one black outfit that she wears when she's actually abducted by Lottie's people. She's wearing that the entire time until she changes into the purple stuff. Maybe it'd be weird if like Lottie wore Nat's outfit.
Let's see that. I think that's a good call, actually. That wouldn't surprise me if she did, because she wore Laura Lee's.
I would kind of die. If I saw Lottie come out in black leather pants, I'd be like,
but hold on, that shout out though I made to her pants in this episode, where she's wearing those red cheetah print pants, or it's like Put it back on the dusting where Adam's on the floor. Nat's wearing these red pants where all the girls are looking at Adam's body.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That was like, hey, because you've seen Nat wearing a little bit of color again.
Yeah, totally. Good point.
And bringing in Misty, hey.
Yeah,
she knows
and
what to do.
Sorry, that's the part we left out. So they pick up Misty, and Misty's been bonding with Jessica Roberts. Jessica is working her hard. She's trying to get her to spill the beans, right? And there's this sort of questionable thing by the end of it where you're like, did she actually tell her? But I don't think she did. But if she did, it's sort of in like a confession sort of way, and also to the point that like if she did confess anything to Jessica, it's only because she knew she was going to kill her.
Well, I don't think she didn't confess. She was playing Jessica. She was leading her on and playing a character role, which she was like, well, do you think you could make me famous? Oh, and then when Jessica asked something, yeah, we did what we had to do, but she never actually says what you had to do. Like she kind of does this mysterious type answers, misty, cloudy type answers and replies. Like she is cloudy the whole time. She's shady as hell. And she's acting more, you see her also too, continuously being a monitoring spirit. She's monitoring Nat. She's monitoring Nat at the doorway. She's monitoring all this stuff. She's a detective, assistant detective, but no, she's a monitoring spirit is what she is. So. And I love how like sadistically she smiles. We need you to get rid of the body. Oh, that's it. Okay.
All right.
Oh, and next episode. I love it. Next episode. Oh, great. We just have to get rid of the body. We don't have to worry about storylines.
She's all chipper. She's like, well.
Did anyone see you? No?
Yeah.
Okay, then we just got to get rid of the body.
Yep, exactly. She's
just making. But how keen into her character is where she's not. She wants it to be a storyline. She wants to create all these things. And she ends up doing that when we see her talking to Gloria's daughter. Who are you again? Why are you at the funeral? Why are you at my, but we'll talk about that next episode. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. They go together really well. And episode 10 is epic. Just there's a lot that goes on. And it's the Eleusinian mysteries, in my opinion. That's when they go to the graduation, that's what we're getting. So
yeah, and we get a hint of this, but Jessica Roberts lays a line about how the transiting of the drugs and things like that in this episode. It actually keys way of how Misty disposes of the body. So because they transit it inside of so they're talking about it.
Oh yeah, good point.
Talks about the stick transit. Yeah,
good catch.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Erin. Thank you, chat.
Yeah, thank you all for being here with us 3 hours. So if you've been here the whole time, you're awesome. And Mandy and I will be back next week with our final season 1 coverage here for you guys. And then we'll have to come up with, so I want you guys to think this week about some ideas for maybe some live streams or something fun for Mandy and I to do, and we would be happy to keep the buzz alive during the off season. It's going to be a long 2024 with no new Yellowjackets, but honestly, I think, fingers crossed, I don't think they're going to leave us fully high and dry. I'm choosing to believe that they are going to share the Cabin Daddy special with us sometime this year. Like, because we know that the new season's coming out next year. They're going to start filming for season 3 in early in May. So I think once they're all back together, they're working, they're getting this stuff, it's coming to life. I think the inspiration is really going to come back for all of them and for the whole buzz and hype and all of that. So hopefully we'll be getting the Cabin Daddy special and just like some more buzz going on to keep it up. And I've seen some fair weather Yellowjackets fans in the Twitter sphere. So don't be a fair weather fan. We are keeping the buzz going all the time. This is
a Fallout
lifestyle.
I mean, literally, yes. It's the honey I need to be healthy.
Is Fallout the one that's the new Ella Purnell? Is that the one she's in?
I'm not sure what it is.
That Ella is who plays Jackie. I think that's the one. It's a new show or movie coming out based on a video game. And it's also got, what's his name? Walter Goggins. I freaking love him. He is fantastic. He's so funny. My husband and I absolutely love him. He's in the Righteous Gemstones. Plays Uncle Bobby Billy. Is that his name? Uncle Billy.
Yeah, I love where he comes out of a clamshell. He comes out of a shell.
Amazing.
Like a pearl.
He's such a character.
That's gonna be my Halloween costume this year.
Oh my God! If you did that, I would die. Oh, yeah. I would straight up die. You should definitely do that. Mandy.
That is. First off, that is why I'm obsessed.
That is so me.
Baby Bobby Billy is so me. I love him so much.
He's the best.
Like,
he
I
really
die.
I love that actor.
Out, yeah, I absolutely love that. So,
you know what else? Oh my God, I had to tell you. We're already on the live stream, so I don't care. I'll just tell you. We've talked about True Detective Night Country like every week for the last few weeks. I'm really enjoying it. And Mandy, I swear, I really think you'd like it. And I watched this video this morning that had such a great theory, and it totally made me think of you because they were theorizing that the energy, the monster, the bad monster or whatever of the show was actually possibly Sedna, the goddess.
Okay, why does that make you think of me?
Because you were all into her. Because when we were talking about Yellowjackets, what was it? Just like
I was on for a minute,
what the wilderness spirit could potentially be, and that was one of the ideas. Then you really liked that, and I remember you sending me a video, and But
it was about the darkness of the water, and like also like the return of Saturn and what's going on with the universal, like the cosmic realms and things like that, which kind of Yellowjackets is coincidentally coinciding with, is it coincidence or not? I don't know. I don't think so, because they're bringing back a lot of these undertones and these, esoteric wisdom things that come back with the return of Saturn, about coming back to yourself, about going through the wilderness, about going through these dark moments of our lives. And now we're kind of having this comeback, and that, it's a planet moon that is not really seen, but it's back in the Earth's atmosphere. It only comes about like every 8,000 years or something like that. But it has this energy where she was cast out into the sea and chopped up and by her husband and like things like that. So there's a lot of things that go together with it.
That's that's like a huge vibe of the show. And so this morning I was watching, I want to say it was like Brain Pilot or one of those channels that I like. Brain Pilot personally. I think he does great videos. I think that was the channel that it was on. But anyways, that was his theory for it. And I was like, this is so good. I actually love this. Yeah. Like, finally some goddess theories that don't make me do all the goddess theories, guys. I need that. I like some of that too. I like to watch those too. But no, I'm considering covering True Detective while Marjorie's over here. I've had a bunch of people that want me to cover it, and I'm considering it. I'm still tossing it around. I've just been trying to get this Alice Rivers video done and off of my back so I can just have it done, and then I can kind of think more clearly about what I'm going to do next. But yeah, True Detective is potentially on my list, although I know we've only got a couple more episodes left, but it is really good. I do love it. And after that theory, I was just like, I got to get Mandy to watch this show with me.
I don't even really want to do House of Dragon. I'm gonna let you know right now. I do not want to. I don't. And I was gonna tell you, but since we're out to the blink, and I like to be truthful and always authentically me. It just like it brings back it triggers me like Shauna with the CPTSD, and I want to just stab people when I think about House of Dragon and Game of Thrones. So that's how I feel. Not you. But like
I appreciate that.
And it really is it really triggers my PTSD, and I just am not interested in it anymore. Like, honestly, since Yellowjackets came into my life, House of Dragon doesn't do it anymore.
I can appreciate that. I
want to focus on I want to focus on Yellowjackets and finally do all these videos I really want to do that are all halfway done. I have literally 50 videos and 50 halfway done to be videos. So they're coming. Like, and I'm not kidding you. When I say 50, it's like 50 or more, to be honest.
Do it, girl. Well, we'll figure it out.
We will.
I'm still going to try and work on Mandy. Otherwise, I might just do House of Dragon by myself.
No, I will never leave you by yourself.
Mandy loves it. She's just too, she's too, she and I,
I'm
we're too like, I don't even know. We're just doing a thing. We're on our own wavelength, and House of Dragon is trying to keep up with us.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. We gotta go. It's been over 3 hours. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And yes, Wild Marjoram. I love it. I love this Yellow King stuff. Okay, Haster. Who's Haster? I gotta look this guy up.
I know, but ponies forever. Hey.
Yeah.
My Little Pony. My Little Pony. I gotta go. I'm out. Okay,
all
bye.
Right. Jackie out.
Jackie
bye, friends.
out.
Doomcoming abound.